Fancy.
I'm Andy Dion, and you're watching.
Hey now, how you doing? Saturday night. Yes, it is.
What's going on, you guys?
Someone was excited.
It's a great night to be streaming, everybody. Hello and welcome.
Yeah.
Show me your pit.
9:07 on Saturday night, May the 7th. We are into May. Springtime is underway everywhere, I hope.
Except the East Coast. Yes. It's spring during the day and
It's either winter
fall
or
at
not
night.
winter
Yeah. Right.
That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
It's turned a little cool here, too.
It rained on me all day long, guys. But it was a good day. It was a great day.
Sawa. I'm going to see him Wednesday, so I'll tell him you said hello.
Yeah, right on, B. John 5 on Wednesday.
I can't
At the
wait.
Chance.
I cannot wait.
Right on. Yeah.
I got a surprise for him.
Oh, you do, huh?
I do. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh, so we're not allowed. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Nuh-uh.
That's big news. That is big news.
Next week's news.
Well, maybe. It might be a little bit longer than that. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Video, but
There will, but in time.
That's a
Sonny boy. Yeah, no, I know. I read it.
Okay.
Well, I'd be fine if you said it. I'd be fine if you said it too. It's okay.
Better be video.
It's okay.
We want to welcome you tonight. We're talking Brad Gillis tonight.
Old Brad.
Yeah. Tom Charles Greene, Brendan B. Squared, the lovely Sandra on a Saturday. And we got a guest with us tonight too, y'all.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest, our brother Ben.
Oh, hey,
Canadian.
brother Canadian mother.
Right on, Ben.
I'm back. They can't get rid of me. I am like your favorite yeast infection. That's what happens. Actually, no, I'm here doing substitute duty because for those who know Brad Gillis know that our good friend Mr. Nesdal was a huge fan and became good friends with Brad over the last year or so. So we can talk a bit about that. That's what I'm bringing to the table.
Excellent.
And I've got 2.8 factoids. Because one of them is that really a fact? I think it is, but it's debatable. We'll see.
Excellent.
Let you to decide. Like, I'm going to let Sawa decide because he wins all the contests. And, so once in a while he's nice and he just eases back in the chat and lets someone else try before swooping in next week.
Or his keyboard doesn't work or something.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. After last week, I was going to ask, if we don't have someone from the chat willing to commit to the trivia, I'll do my best to go head to head with Tony.
See, we haven't done that yet, and that might be a good idea too. One of us going against T.
Considering I have no idea what the trivia is about, folks. At some point, Brendan said something off here regarding trivia, and then there was some comment how nobody sends her trivia. So as far as I know, it's all up in her cranial capacity, which is apparently extensive based off what I've seen so far in the channel. Since I've seen the stuff.
I have a lot of useful information stored up here.
Yeah.
Sandra writes the questions. Nobody knows the questions until she asks them.
Right.
And then we still don't know.
Right. Unless, Butt Cheeks or Charles was not so lazy and actually forwarded a trivia question, say on a Wednesday to Sandra.
Don't make me do work.
That never happens. Yeah. I'm talking independent of Tony, of course.
Don't make me do any work.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. That's all I do is work. This is my vacation time, you guys.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm off the clock right now.
I'm on Charles's page. I did get texted earlier from work, so even today. At least they left me alone leave me alone for a few hours. I'm not answering my text.
You feel my pain, Brendan.
Let me be. Would you let me be?
Seriously, man. It's crazy.
We're going to grab one of you guys in the chat a little later on to play 10-shot rock and roll trivia against me tonight right here.
Yes,
so
sir.
if you want to play, we're going to be searching a contestant.
Here's a heads up. Tonight's trivia, all 10 questions are 80s rock and roll based.
80s
nice.
rock and roll based.
Yeah,
I lived through it.
All you got.
I lived through it, and I was sober through the 80s, so that helps. However, since the 80s,
little fuzzy,
a lot of fuzzy.
Little fuzzy, little distortion.
Yep. Yeah.
Massive
Massive amount of gain through the 90s.
I hear you, buddy.
Let's check out who is with us tonight on a Saturday. I see Hip Metal Works with us. Welcome, Christopher Live Sour, Leo Safko. Hey, Leo. Nice to see you, dude.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Janice Lala. Hey, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Feeling better,
good
Janice.
To see you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Papa Blue and Thomas Santiago. There he is.
How you doing,
right
brother?
there.
The Beast of Buffalo.
Dan of New Jersey. Always good to see you,
Good to see you, Dan.
Let me
Right on,
scroll upward. Ed is here. Ed, good to see you.
Bro. How you doing,
Happy
bud?
Saturday.
Jeff K just popped in. Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, good to see you. BC Rich 581.
Guys,
Guitar
very
Man
cool.
45.
Guitar Man, what's going on?
Still
Me too,
rolling.
Excuse me.
I graduated high school in '86. Mr. Paramutant. Hello, sir.
He's still
Hey,
not much
there's
older
some
than me.
Mutant. Good to see you, Mutant.
Yeah, good to see you, dude.
They're popping in. They're popping in.
Yeah,
Paulie,
welcome.
Hey, Paulie.
I'm not saying, I name dropped tonight's show in Steve from Boston's chat earlier, because,
Okay.
Yeah,
we wouldn't want you to say that.
Well, I figure, it's a responsibility as being a member of the YouTube community that
everybody
the blue spanner from time to time in a channel.
Right.
So
Some do.
if you have the power, Butt Cheeks, you gotta abuse it once in a while. So
You had
Mazel.
you have to use a Triumph lyric. You have the power.
Hey, Joe. Nice to see you, dude.
Joe, what's going on, brother?
I actually heard that song driving home today. I'm like,
Great.
the other Canadian band.
To me, I'm like, they're not even the other Canadian trio.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of those.
Polly, what's going on,
No,
Polly?
there's only one. There can be only one, Ben.
I'm just saying, if this show ever happens to fall on July 1st, we might need to do a Canadian invasion and do an all-Canadian show, Tony. I'm just saying. I don't know when that falls, but
Be
That's
great.
a good
if
idea.
some year,
That is
if it's Canada Day,
What's a good day to do that, Ben? Like, what's a famous holiday, a Canadian holiday besides Boxing Day?
See, no, Butt Cheeks. I'm that's what I'm saying. July 1st is Canada Day. That's why.
Did you say that already? Because I was.
Yeah, that's what I let off with. Bury the headline.
And
were you hanging out in the green room with me? Like, were you hanging on the couch a little too close? Maybe we made contact. I'm just saying.
Hey, Ben, I don't mean to sound ignorant because I really want to know this.
Yeah.
What Canada Day?
Yes.
What is it specifically? Is it like any kind of an independence thing? Like ours is July 4th. We have Independence Day. Is it?
I think it's weird. It's like it is, but it isn't.
Okay.
Because we've been celebrating it, as far as I know, at least my whole life, for quite a while.
Sure.
Yet Canada didn't technically get their full independence until 1984.
Okay.
Kind of like Australia, like part of the Commonwealth, but they're like, yeah, you're doing your own thing, which is weird because we're separate, yet we still have a governor general who's technically the head of state, but they don't do anything. It's a little figurehead position.
Okay.
Very weird.
I already got it marked on my calendar, Ben.
Oh, look at that.
Well, I'm just looking for like 2 good reasons to party in the beginning of July. So I'll jump right on with you. It's July.
There's one right there.
Always been a fan of carrying the 1st right through the 4th. And then the 5th is my sister's birthday, so we just keep on easing it right on through. The first week of July is hard.
It's a big month for the Coombs family.
Tony, we were talking this week because I'm scheduling more on at times, and I kind of booked a guest for tomorrow night, and then I realized it's Mother's Day, and my sister does the Mother's Day show, so I'm like, oops. So I asked that guest to move to next week, and I went, oh, that's when I had Tony booked. And then I said, hey, I have an idea, because he's doing the Memorial Day weekend barbecue hang here on the Saturday. As certain people say, Mazel carry it on over to the Sunday night hang the next night, so all you guys are invading my channel the next night. Ooh. So Mazel just carry the party over for the whole weekend. Because we still have Monday to recover. Well, except for Tom and me, because we still have to do Canucks show the next night.
Okay. I think you can do it.
Yeah,
that Memorial Day weekend will start like this on the 28th, talking about the US Festival Heavy Metal Day.
Talking us with us.
That Canadian band Triumph kicked the hell out of the US Festival, by the way.
They
hang
did.
On, hang on, and then we're gonna go into this right after that episode, and if we are good, we'll be in good shape with you, Ben, the next night. No promises.
We'll be in great shape. We'll be in great shape regardless. See, that's how we know the pros. You gotta carry it through. You power nap. We'll power nap a bit late. Well, technically, we'll power nap Sunday morning. Technically, and then get up and maybe I got to sneak out of there. Moderating, which is always fun on Sundays.
Wow.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Very cool, Ben. Very cool, brother.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, and I'm usually lit that whole weekend anyways in Charlotte. So like I have a rule by Friday, I don't even leave the infield. They're like, don't you want to go see the merch? They're like, I'm like, across the road? No. They're like, no, like the official ones, they're literally on the other side of the stands. As you're walking to the stands, got the merch. And I'm like, no.
Ben, are you telling me that you're going to be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway? Is that what you're talking about?
Normally, yes. When I do travel, I would be leaving. Usually, let me think.
Oh, so you're not actually doing this? You're reminiscing.
Yes. Like traditionally,
I was going to say, brother, that's 16 minutes from me. I would have to hook up with you for at least.
Oh yeah. Like the next time I'm down, we are down because I'm hoping by then they don't keep screwing up the NASCAR season. They put the All-Star race back there because then it was 2 weekends in a row at the track, which makes the work trip worth it. Yes. So we leave like Tuesday afternoon, let's say the 14th, and we don't leave till Memorial Monday from Charlotte and head back. We're down there for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
I got you.
I am not sober. I do not drive once I'm in the state of North Carolina. That's my rules. And if I do, it's only within the Speedway facilities because after the All-Star race clears out, Charles, you got that whole half of that infield, the southern half, which is a huge area. There's 8 of us campers still there.
Oh, wow.
And there's an infield road course that's not being used at that time. Well,
Ben, you
any
have the
vehicle
whole
can be a race
layout of that
vehicle if
place,
you drive
like,
it fast.
memory perfectly. When you come down here, next time you do, we will. In fact, I don't know if Tony have you met Ben yet, Tony, in person?
No.
Dude, we're gonna make this thing a happening
Yeah,
thing. We'll
you
go
come
live,
anywhere
dude.
near here, dude, and it's
That would be killer.
And to answer Sally says, tell me you've been to a Michigan International. Yes. My very first NASCAR race, I somehow wandered into some free tickets to a Michigan race. All we had to do was get there, and we had a hotel room in somebody else's name, so aka we didn't pay for the hotel room. We went out to dinner, charged it to the room, which again, see previous statement, didn't pay for. And then we had free tickets to the race the next day, and then we stopped for fast food and then drove another 6 hours back home. That was fun.
Excellent.
That was like 1996, 98, back around there. And, the idea of going to a NASCAR race to a Canadian was just, what? Like, working at a gas station. The guy next to us had a parts store, and he's like, I got extra tickets. We're like, like literally at 1 p.m. on a Saturday.
And NASCAR is still big. 500 miles, 500. This is huge here.
All the way back in the 1900s, Ben.
Okay. Yes. Anyways, Brad Gillis. Speaking of Brad Gillis, sorry about that, folks, for that.
No, it's good.
Well, then again, folks that know me, they know me. And Tom's just like, that's Brother Ben.
I'm doing my own thing, so I'm good.
Which is what he usually does. He's like, Ben's going to be good. He's got them handled for a good 8 minutes. So I have a window.
But you have to.
Hey, there's Brother Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Tell them for me. All of a sudden, then I'll be sitting there twiddling with something or eating a full meal, and then you'll ask like Terry a question. Hey Terry, hey Tom, let me ask you this, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, jump right in.
Nice. Nice.
Tom just goes into standby mode. Just listens for his name. It's kind of like what you do when you hang out with the in-laws at a family event.
There you go. I have a hard time. I'm so OCD. I have a hard time focusing and doing one thing, and like my hands always have to be busy with something,
Done messed up, AA Ron. Oh, sorry.
So I'm going to admit right now, I don't know a whole lot about Brad Gillis. However, the man has been rocking the same guitar basically since we've known him, we'll say. Yeah. And for someone that is willing to play a Floyd Rose-based guitar without fine tuners,
that's
why? But that's impressive. However,
he still plays that Strat.
If you have the correct nut, that's the key. I learned this from Mr. Nesdall, Charles. I learned this from Mr. Nesdall.
It's true.
You know how when you got a locking trem system and you lock down that nut and your strings go a touch sharp, so you always leave a little wiggle room in the fine tuners?
Yep.
Well, with a good, proper one, it doesn't do that. You lock it down, it doesn't change pitch.
Interesting, because the angle's correct.
Yeah, like the guys that you were hanging out with, Charles, back in the day that had Floyd Rose systems, they didn't have that problem. I guarantee you, because they had the legit OG Floyd Rose systems.
I saw some guys backstage trying to. It wasn't always a tech. Sometimes it was just a frustrated guitar player. Yeah. And I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen guys throwing 3-in-1 oil on the nut and doing all kinds of stuff. Not that that's crazy. I mean, sometimes you have to do it, depending on what kind of gear you have. It was interesting.
The difference would be those guys that actually were able to have the custom shop stuff as opposed to a production run guitar.
Interesting enough about guys with gear and quality of gear. Remember David Nesdall's friend Anthony Steele?
Yep.
Yeah. His group, the Black Sheep. Okay, they had high-end gear. Right. They not only had full stacks, but they had really nice. They would be vintage now. Guitars, the gear was top notch. You could hear it, and it was just a fine example that just pops in my head. The Black Sheep. I hope we can keep in touch with Anthony, Ben. I would still love to just have some moments with him and just talk with him about the old days.
Anthony Jay-Z?
Yeah.
No, Anthony Steele.
Anthony Steele.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, very cool, dude.
Brains gone tonight.
Very cool.
Okay, I got your back, brother. That's what I'm here for.
Amongst other things that add to it, but with the low blood pressure, I'm having a little bit like encephalopathy kind of effect. So
the one thing I do remember the most, though, about all the guys who had locking trim systems is when they came out of the dressing room to head for the stage, they had that guitar in a very cupped, protective mode. The headstock, they kept their eye on it. They navigated through people and made sure they didn't bump it to throw their guitar out, to do anything to bump the neck, to throw it out of, out of tune.
And I think there's a reason. I just thought of this analogy. Anybody that rode a motorcycle back in the day, there was a reason Harley offered a toolkit for the motorcycle that attached to the motorcycle. There's a reason the Allen keys were right there on the back of the headstock. Just in case.
They all basically did it, I guess. They all did it, even if they just had like Gibson with 6 open tuners. But I just remembered that. I wasn't really into guitars in those days. I could kind of half strum one. I was into girls and a few other things at the time. So, I had my priorities.
We all have our own lifestyle choices, Charles.
But hey, I came around. It just
you only have time for so much. And what I hear there is butt cheeks. I heard, he said girls and other stuff. And he dropped some of that other stuff, and that allowed time for guitar. Because and I know he's got a fine girl. So the girl, it's not zzz, unless you have a daughter as well. I don't know. I don't know your full extended family. However, I know there's a girl, so you're okay for there's the girl time still. Because if you don't have the girl time, you're not allowed to have the guitar time. No, because otherwise, it's the arms folded and the tapping the foot like Sonic the Hedgehog, and nobody wants that.
But why would you want? And again, I've never played a Floyd Rose, but why would you want something so volatile? You just knock it and it's out of tune.
Well, no, if you bump the headstock hard enough, you can actually move the headstock on a Strat, just a Strat.
No, I know, but
a lot of guys had modded guitars.
But it seems like all the stories I hear, they're so sensitive and they're so hard to dial in. Even
it's their sensitivity that makes it good, Brendan.
But once you dial them in and you got what you know how. There's nothing.
It's
better.
like a Ferrari. It's it's high precision instrument. Whereas, however, as opposed to a Gibson where you do the same thing and the headstock comes right off. You know what I'm saying? You're not retuning that. So
they didn't tell you that when they made
unless you're David Nesdahl, then you can drop Les Pauls and nothing happens.
Nothing happens, right?
Did you believe
the
that?
other thing too is, Brendan, the strings are on a guitar are at such a high tension that it doesn't take a lot of
and I think too if you hit a tuner, even if you have the nut snug down, because you don't want to reef it too hard. If you crank a tuner off, it's not going to make a difference until 14 minutes into your set, and all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Where that difference in balance and strength, all of a sudden it shifts under that.
Hey, Tony, I bet you. I don't know if you remember. Remember during Dirty Honey, John Notto, he tripped and he fell backwards. Yeah. Remember that? He didn't really. I guess he kind of slipped, but he fell right on his back. Then he fell back onto his back. And when he came onto his back, it would be the E string, the low E string, the tuner hit the floor. It went boom like that. You could hear it on the PA. He stood up and they started the next song, and he was kind of joking because it was at the end of a song when he did it. And he hit like the first 8 strums of his guitar, maybe 10. And headed for that tuner, man. And he went right for that E string. I don't know if you remember that or not, Tony, but he hit that tuner immediately and had to retune his guitar up.
Maybe he just automatically went into drop D.
No, not that particular. I didn't realize he had hit it. It looked like he went straight back and just laughed about it. But I remember one time he just out of the blue heard whatever. didn't look in the middle of a song, reached up, you know.
He heard it.
I saw him do that.
Yeah.
I've only ever had one tuner break off a headstock of a guitar, and I didn't even do it. I came home one day to a missing tuner on one of my guitars, and it was I want to say it was back in the mid-90s, and I was like, interesting, a guitar on stand, missing tuner. Well, that's not good.
Was the string still attached to the tuner and the tuner laying on the floor?
Oh yeah, it was still there. Like, and I'm like, So what happened there that it's just missing? And it was a cast piece and it snapped off. Like, I'm not just putting new plastic piece on. Wow. So I asked my dad. I'm like, I happen to know how tuner, and I think I was 21 at the time, so I felt really, it's one of the few times you can say to your parents,
What's
like,
up, Keith?
you get the role reversal deal, and you know what I got? I was reaching behind it for a drill, and I knocked it over into the stand and broke off the tuner. I'm like, oh, okay, and I just went, that's fine, and I walked away, because I'll just let it. Like, it was a cheap bass guitar, thankfully, but the cheapest guitar I owned, but still, he fessed up to it, and then I eventually got it fixed like 15 years later. So what I did was, the string was still basically in tune, the low E, more or less, and with the tuner gone, I just tuned the other 5 to it going forward, and I just didn't change the strings on it for about 10 years.
Oh my goodness!
Until I gave it to Rich to replace the single tuner.
That's excellent, bro.
Nice. Very good.
So let me say that for trivia tonight and next week and the week after, up until Memorial Day weekend, if you are the winner, if you beat me, we're going to send you a pass to join us
Backstage
at our 3rd annual
Backstage Barbecue Bash.
Memorial Day. Show me your pick. Backstage.
It's crazy.
Barbecue.
It's 3rd already.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Seems.
I like, Tony, I have to ask, was that like the first one, like super early days of you doing stuff?
No. It was not even a year ago.
Well, how are we having a 3rd one already, butt cheeks?
Because it was a good idea. We said, hey, let's do more.
We did one. We did the first Backstage Bash after.
Was it after Christmas?
It was at Christmas, right? And then
we're
did
cooking the
next
books,
one.
Ben. So we're saying that we already did 2. So
okay, well, I'm just wondering, because the word annual usually refers to yearly. I'm just saying.
Year, yes.
Well, Christmas is in 21, so this is, Oh, I see.
For tax purposes, we're predating them.
It's like my favorite thing is, like, there's so many things that were flash in the pan over the years, and so many of them are called first annual. I'm like, how is it first and an annual? Because an annual event means there's
okay, literal
first
Ben.
Annual.
All right,
but
rock and roll propaganda. Ben. I love it. That just means we're going full Steel Panther on this one.
You're going to be mailed one of these.
Love it.
If you beat me.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
You need that
to
get in.
I dig that.
Need that to get in, though, too.
So, yeah.
I'm watching the door with Charles.
That's right. We're hanging, man. We're hanging.
So if you want
fortunately, I know a guy at the door. I know a guy.
Come on in, Ben.
Yeah, come on, Charles. You see my list. Oh, yeah, you're right there. You're right under Henley above Joe Walsh.
Where you been?
So, T, did you get anything else new this week? Showing that VIP pass. What do we got new?
57th annual. Show me your pick.
You guys are silly.
PC Rich Penn's channeling is entered Alex Trebek. Well, fellow Canuck.
No.
That's awesome.
Okay. Anyway.
Boomster Black. Welcome.
All right. I got to go grab my backstage pass. This is bugging me now. I'll be right back.
All right. I'm going to change cameras here.
And, show us some goodies. Show us some goodies. Thank you.
I regret that I never saw Night Ranger, and when I'll tell you what, I'll wait till Tony gets done. If you guys give me a minute in a little bit, I'll tell you a little story, Randy Rhodes story that leads into
Randy. What?
Yeah, I've got quite a little bit of this.
Sexual.
You got it, brother. You got it.
All right.
He
Sorry,
good.
Charles.
He
I couldn't
good.
help myself.
He
All
good.
right. So let's see what's happening here.
Oh, that's a great pick, bro.
Nice.
So
Yeah, Charles. When I saw them, they were playing at the county fair. I didn't have tickets to see them, but
Well,
you
that's
could
like
stand-
new. Wow.
You could stand at a spot,
South America.
pretty much see the whole show for free. You know, you don't have to pay to go into the grandstand because it's pretty close.
Come and say
I know Tony's been throwing a lot of picks, but he's now at the point where he gets picks thrown to him before the shows happen. Like,
Oh yeah,
how?
absolutely.
Like, oh wow!
This is
Like
new
he's
guitarist.
right beyond the front row. He's like,
he's got
Tony's
a guy. He's got a
I'm
guy.
thinking as the people are feeding them onto those mic stands, Tony's right at the other
I
end,
got a
falling
guy.
down, taking them down.
He
I
got a
got
guy.
a
He's
guy.
like,
I got a guy.
I put him here.
One on the mic stand, one in the envelope for Tony. Two on the mic stand, two in the envelope for Tony.
I got a guy.
all right, here's a cool one. You guys are gonna like this one. All right.
The wedding band.
You know who that is?
I do not.
Oh,
Anybody in the chat?
Well, first of all, that
Oh,
font
wedding
is
band.
amazing. I want to marry that font.
I can't really
Like-
read it.
Very 70s.
Yeah, exactly. That is so awesome. That's
Don
like full
Cornelius.
Mary Tyler Moore
I
shit
don't
going on.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh wow. Dude's birthday.
Whose band is this? Whose guitar pick is this? Anybody in chat?
Mm-mm.
Dude's birthday. Yeah, there you go.
I have no idea.
Dude's birthday.
This is Kurt Hammett's side band.
Ah,
Oh no!
Oh.
wow.
Wow.
Never would have guessed it.
Yeah.
That's so
It should be.
cool.
It should have
Wow.
been called the Wawa Wedding Band.
The Wadding Band.
Yeah. The
All
Wawa
right.
Wedding. The
So
Wawa.
here, all right.
Nice day for a Wawa wedding.
Now, this might play for a little bit of cool trivia.
Well,
That's
okay,
a
because I'm
little
thinking this is
media.
vintage already. Because I know I've seen stuff that have like music stores on one side and the artist on the
Yeah.
other.
This
So-
has nothing on the other.
Now you can kind of see through that.
Okay.
All right.
You
So
can- you
You
listen
can,
can,
to
Brandon.
Brendan. You apparently have modern glasses and stuff, so that's impressive. Okay.
Nah, I just guessed.
So, Lipa Music was in Gainesville. Okay.
Okay.
It's in Gainesville, Florida.
So we're
And-
talking Skinner territory. We're talking Tom Petty.
Allman
we're
Brothers.
talking
Right.
Allman
right,
Brothers.
right,
We got all kinds
right.
of awesomeness
Little
from that.
Hold
One
on,
of
not
the
Little Feat.
people who you just mentioned used to work at this music store.
Petty.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Yes.
let me think. No. Damn.
Yes, Brendan.
Yeah, Mr.
It
Petty.
is Petty.
It is.
Yeah.
Love me some
That's
Petty.
awesome.
Bloody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so
Wow.
cool.
He worked there.
Cool.
And Ben, I got a couple of Stones picks coming up just coincidentally because you're here tonight.
Oh well, you know,
I would
happy
have him
accident.
anyway.
I heard Ugly Kid Joe. Nice.
Wow.
I heard my favorite
Very
Stones
cool.
tune on the radio today.
And which is
Which
Hang,
is
Hang Fire.
Hang Fire.
That's
Nice.
that's my favorite Stones tune.
really
Yeah.
very cool. Very cool.
I just like it. Makes me happy. You know when I hear it.
There's a lot for me. That's
Well, yeah, I know you're a huge Stones fan. I'm not a giant Stones fan.
yeah. It's
You know.
and it's weird. It's like Zeppelin. There's like ones depending on the mood, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you know, some of those songs you just
Oh,
hear, you're like,
nice.
yeah, cranking that up. Voodoo Lounge.
See, I see Voodoo Lounge, and I think how they did rehearsals for that's when they were always doing rehearsals in Toronto for months on end,
Mhm.
and then they do club dates They rehearse for a month, and they do a week or two of club dates at clubs around Toronto, and it's just the same places I would have been playing years later because it's just little dive bars, and they're like the Stone, but they would advertise as Voodoo Lounge, but the album wasn't out yet. So you're like, well, what's Voodoo Lounge?
That is so cool,
Mr. Keith Richards.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a cool one.
Oh wow,
That's
Dude.
cool. That is
nice.
nice font.
It
Nice
gets
font.
cooler.
Again, nice font. Yeah.
It gets cooler.
It does. Ooh. Oh.
Hip
Oh.
Metal, Hip
Oh.
Metal Works said,
Wow,
"Won't you be
that's-
my neighbor?"
That's got to be pretty rare.
Yeah, he spent one season there.
Wow.
Okay.
Um,
I was like, yeah. I wasn't aware, but sure.
yeah.
So if someone's going to fill Blackmore's role, we got Satch. Yeah, that works. Sure.
All right.
That's a rare pick.
He knows all the notes. DQ and the Sharks.
Dairy Queen and the Sharks.
I like
Come
that
on,
name.
guys. Come on, you've heard
Don-
of
Ross
it.
Quinton?
Don Quixote.
Darius Quintet,
I'll give you a hint.
Delicious Queen, Delicious Queen.
Kevin Costner's band is called True West,
He's in a band.
Modern West.
I didn't know that band.
This is also an actor's
John Quartz.
name in his band.
Okay.
Dennis Quaid?
Kevin Bacon.
DQ.
Not Dennis
Not
Quaid.
DQ then.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Wow. Very good.
Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid. Did
Dennis
anybody say
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid?
Very cool, dude.
That is cool.
All right. So now, I guess, let me pour these out. Get out of there. Now it's time to.
Bring it home.
Bring
the
on
donkey.
the donkey.
Tony, you said I wouldn't have to do that till we're off air.
We're starting early, son.
Ah,
And
Feel like a pig boy.
a
Oh,
cool
nice.
one from
I heard it. I've heard of that band.
1984.
What band is this?
I've heard of them.
Oh, who's that?
All roads lead back to it, right, Charles?
Everly
Constantly,
Valley.
Can't get
Everly
away from it.
Valley.
Oh, it will in a minute, Brandon, because I got my backstage
That's cool
pass.
pick,
I'm just
Tom.
saying.
Eddie Valley, I think it was, Tom.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
Eddie
these-
Valley in the one season because it's California band.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
These old ones, I've got a couple of these, but not as nice
Okay.
as this. And this is what
Oh.
Mike's
Ooh.
looked like at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's
Yeah.
a wonderful pick, Tony.
Yeah. And that was from 79, 80, 81
Wow.
at the latest. Yeah.
That's a good score, my friend. Good
Awesome.
score.
Awesome pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's it for new stuff for the
That's-
week.
That's a lot of new stuff.
Nice picks, bro.
Good haul.
Tony, I got my pass.
Thick.
You're gonna like
the
it.
axe. Who do you want to know? Is who's
Oh.
thick? Am I thick?
Thick.
Is Tony?
And it says total access, so I assume I can go anywhere with this.
I'm thick and tired of what?
I
Yes,
mean, I
sir.
do a lot of biking, so I got those thick calves. but,
That's
you know,
really nice, Ben.
Just kidding.
Thank you.
That's nice.
It
Very
was a gift from John Biel.
The
Right
axe
on.
just
excellent.
The axe just
That
a
is
thick.
nice, man. That's super nice.
Thick, maybe thick pick, Tom. Maybe.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's nice
I
of
don't
John
know.
Biel.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I walk up to Charles and
Yeah.
butt cheeks at the barbecue, and I'm like,
I'm not really thick. I
Come on
used
in,
to
bro.
be,
Like you're on the list. Go ahead. We'll just
Like
get that
Wayne
all
Garth.
out of the way.
best, but I could only buy a certain amount of square footage. I couldn't. I'm working. I'm saving for the rest of it. On this part of the wall. Over here, you know.
Yep, Tom is
It's
a
a
big
it's a
man.
gorgeous mansion, but I only have about like 300 square feet, like
Yeah.
a little more than what you can see there.
Hey,
Um,
so
I'm going to show off this one to Tony. Because
what do you got?
I'm curious if he has this one.
I can
It's
see a Tortex.
Dunlop, yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a Paul Gilbert, maybe.
Wow.
There you go.
Look at
Right
that.
on.
The man knows his picks.
That's
You
so
have that
nice.
one, Tony.
So cool.
Nice.
a really cool
No,
pick.
I do not have
I
that.
love Paul Gilbert.
I shall put this aside for you, Tony.
Thank
Oh.
you, sir.
Hey, look
Right
at that.
on.
It's not often. Yeah, it's not. You know, it's like
Nice.
you're trying to buy we're doing Secret Santa, and I got Tony. I'm like, dang it!
Music. I hear
How do
music.
you know?
So I didn't. I found out some recent news about Gillis. Did you know that he played like over 300 songs for ESPN Sports Center? I didn't know that. That's amazing.
That rings a bell. All of a sudden, I'm like,
That's
yes,
cool.
I did,
Yeah.
but I didn't until you. Yes, but I
And for
heard
a lot
about
of
that.
a lot of video games. He played on a lot of
Yeah,
video games.
yeah, because it would be like, hey, what's Night Ranger? What's the dude from Night Ranger doing these days? It was like, oh yeah, he's doing music for ESPN because
Dude, a lot of
Very
music.
successful studio guy now.
Canadians in the chat will know Andy Curran from Coney Hatch.
I heard that name.
I don't think they
Andy
ever
Curran.
broke in the US. He used to do a lot of stuff for TSN, which was partially owned by ESPN.
Okay.
We made it just more smart. We just called it the Sports Network.
Yeah. No, but that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad that they do that. You know.
Yeah,
It's really awesome.
You know, you need someone to do that. You're like, hey, we get Brad Gillis. You're like, that's
I know
exactly what we want to hear.
Why
Except
not?
they're like, we don't know who he is. You're like, oh, it's a dude from Night Ranger. Oh, I like Night Ranger. Stamp, you know.
It's like
Suits.
you get
Suits
like a
don't know. They just want to
to
hear the thing with the thing. You know,
a 5 or 10 second riff on an intro or outro. It just, there you go. Something like
you
not like
become
that.
on a soundboard if you can be that. Oh,
Yeah.
because then you're still getting paid every time they just push that button. Oh.
I know he wouldn't have written that trivia tune that Sandra keeps playing. He wouldn't have written that.
I know.
Because that's, you know. Maybe should we find somebody there, T? Should we find somebody for the
We're
for the
a little
10-shot rock and roll?
early,
We're a
but
little,
yeah,
we're a little
you
early.
kids-
Yeah, we are a little early for that.
You
Cool.
kids want to play? Let us know if you want to play in the chat.
We could always find somebody and then wait to give them the link.
We're
If
gonna,
they don't do it, I got to do it. So somebody step up. I'm looking at you.
If you want to play, let us know in the chat, and we'll put a link in the chat for you, and you can come in. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want. You can cut your camera off. But when you come in, we'll have some fun. Yeah, it'll be 10 questions about. Sandra is saying she said it was 80s rock based. Yes,
Yep.
so 80s rock tonight against me. 10 questions. And if you win, you get to come hang out Memorial Day with us. I'm going to be mailing you one of these.
Yep.
Which, let's be honest, that is just as cool as this. You know, right? Same thing. Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, and if you do win and you come in, don't forget to turn off your YouTube. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what the difference in the hang is, butt cheeks?
No.
With that pass as opposed to this one, you could run into a few a-holes back there in that green room. Suits and stuff. You're not going to run into any of those people at Tony's hang. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The per caliber of hang is actually better.
Yeah, we'll keep them out.
There.
Charles and I we got that. We keep them out.
We got the door.
Hey,
I
Brennan.
distract them. Charles knocks them out.
Yeah.
That's
I'm your Huckleberry too.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing patent leather wingtips? You're not cool. You're not cool.
But if Prince,
Do you
wore them,
own a yacht? No. Or do you own? You say, do you own a boat? Yes. Is it worth more or less than $5,000? And does it need another $5,000 to really make it safe? If it's one of those, you're cool. If it's not, and you have someone that takes care of that stuff for you, well, if you're buying the rounds, sure. Well, okay, yeah, he can come in, but just one of them. We only need one.
Wait, Boomster Black, why do you have to be evil? Why can't you just be a nice weed baron?
I don't know. You can get pardons for things like that. Just saying. I'm not talking from experience.
All right. So Will,
not that I helped out the singer for Red Dragon Cartel for that exact kind of border issues, because Jake announced a tour and his singer wasn't eligible to cross the border.
Yeah, in about 10 minutes or so, we'll do that, right, T? We'll grab somebody.
Yeah, we'll grab some. There's a few
We
of
will
you.
kidnap
We'll give
somebody,
you a question
literally, and make them
narrow it
answer
down.
these questions.
Yeah. Mr. Back from doing time, nice to see you.
Hey, bro, it's good to see you, man. You know, at the end of '81,
hey, Gretz,
Saxon was playing a show at the Whiskey, and Ozzy showed up. I told that Ozzy story before, and I remember that, you know, the Diary of a Madman, which was the album that Randy actually was on, and he started that tour. He started the North American leg of that tour.
Yeah, 82.
And, they played the show in Los Angeles. It was the very end of '81 when it was at the LA Sports Arena is where the show was. Mm-hmm. And they played with UFO, and there was one other band, I believe. I don't remember who they were. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But I do remember seeing Randy Rhoads play the last show he ever played in Los Angeles. And so when his death occurred, I told the story about being at the club and showing up at the club and hearing the news literally from my girlfriend and all of our friends. And it was like, I mean, we knew Randy. He came in there a lot. I didn't know him half as well as my girlfriend and her girlfriend. They knew him for years.
Right.
And
hey, Robert,
it was devastating. So after getting to see him do that and play with Ozzy, when they did a very short leg with a guy, Tornay, his name was Bernie, I think Tornay was his name.
Right. Was it like 11 shows maybe? Like it was probably one leg. It was a leg because then you would have a bit of time off, right?
Well, he came in, but only long enough for, and this is Sharon Osbourne, you guys. She's the lady who brought Brad in. And if you guys remember your history, Ozzy was going through, let's just call it a rough patch, a real rough patch. He was, they were canceling shows, you know. There was all kinds of drama going on. And so here's Brad Gillis having to learn all these songs and then literally jump in Randy Rhoads' shoes and take off and go the rest of North America, Europe, and Japan.
Yeah.
Basically,
fulfill a large portion, like what, 80% of the world tour, I would say, because I know they came through Canada, the northern, and I would assume northern US if they're in Canada, because at that time you would just flip across the border. You could do that zigzag. You don't zigzag anymore. That's so much pull over here's and can we look in this and take those off? And they don't want that, especially because it's Ozzy Osbourne. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You do not want to be crossing the border.
I remember.
Like, it's Ozzy. Come on through. He's your problem now. He's your problem now.
It was like 4 months later. So it would be the end of '81, November, December. I'm within a month either way. And it was like April or May. They were in the, you know, involved in the tour at that point is when Gillis jumped on board, finished it out. Now they came back on the second leg, and I remember having the opportunity. I could have worked. I was still at the point where I could have worked for West and gone and seen the show. And because I had already seen it with Randy and went through his passing and everything, I just didn't care because Brad Gillis hadn't joined Night Ranger. Brad Gillis was just a great guitar player, you know, and the news was bittersweet in LA, at least. I remember some of my friends really digging it, and others were like, man, he ain't no Randy. Randy had a huge
following. Randy.
He wasn't
Randy. You know, he was different.
It's tough shoes to fill, and it's tough to jump in like that and just right in. You're right You're in the middle of it.
Had I known Brendan, I would have gone to that show. I didn't
know,
know,
but you
I had no idea.
You can't know,
But
so
I never
and all we know,
Night
for all
Ranger.
you knew, Charles, like that was going to be the new guitar player going forward.
Sure.
Right.
Well, also to be perfectly honest, and just because we want to talk about the facts here.
Yeah.
Poor Brad having to come in at that time. Ozzy was flipping out.
Yeah.
I mean, they were literally every 8 to 10 weeks, or even maybe 12 weeks, they were having to stop the show. They're canceling the tour for a period of time.
He wasn't
taking a hiatus, doing this and that. I don't want to say it like this, but had Ozzy not had he was abroad and he had a kind of they called it a breakdown, and they all literally came back to LA. And it was up at that ranch where the three, I forget the name of the two guys that went with Randy that morning, but Don Airy had just joined the band and he could have very easily been in that plane. And it's just, well, you know where I'm going with it. It was just tragic. Yeah, it's just weird how all that happened. So he was not on my radar. I just didn't.
What put Brad Gillis on the map, though, I think, is shortly. Yeah, he had tough shoes to fill, and he did well. But
I know him more for his Ozzy stint than anything else. It's like, oh yeah, and he played with Night Ranger. Like it's one of those, because Night Ranger was not Van Halen. You can have a tasty solo, and don't get me wrong, but they weren't as they were more the song based as opposed to guitar based, and you have to, and it worked out well. Like that was their whole deal, was they were more akin to that arena rock sound, and like Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora had some tasty solos, but nobody was really there. They were there to hear John sing.
But what put Brad Gillis on the map and what stamped him as a guitar player with cred was, despite the tough shoes, when Ozzy made the live album Speak of the Devil with the Sabbath tunes, that's he was accepted at that moment.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought he played the old stuff. I didn't want to say the Randy stuff, but the old stuff, I thought he played it really well live.
Yeah, all the stuff I've seen him play was wonderful.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine him learning all those songs.
And the stuff he played, it wasn't like it was vastly different than what Randy would play. It was just a few select notes, really. Like he would play stuff in the spirit of Randy, but still make it his own.
It's interesting. His tone wasn't the same. He played a Strat style guitar instead of a Les Paul. I noticed that immediately. I mean, that right off the bat.
But then again, Randy was already flirting with the V's at that point too, right?
That's true. That is very true. That's very true, Ben.
Now, remember that was the guitar that Pete Thorne had recently, was the guitar that was being flown to meet up with Randy at the next show that he would have played. Our number 3, I guess it was, and then it's recently, I don't know, made the rounds in whatever realm how Pete Thorne got his hands on it, which I don't even ask. Like those are text messages you don't send because all you're going to say is how, and you would say can't tell you, and you'd say but how, Charles? Can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's like people. He's like, yeah, I do.
Now, Ben, did someone we know, I want to say it was Dave, had a replica of the red Gillis Strat? Is that right?
He
was having it made, right?
In the midst of having a build commissioned. I don't know how far into the build it was, but I do know a few months ago, maybe around the holidays, I want to say, David made a decision, because we know Dave was always an attention to detail. Like if he was going to build a replica it was going to be a replica, not a tribute, but a replica. Enough where, like, when he literally showed Steve Vai his green meanie he built, and Steve was blown away to the point where he went, "This is my guitar, right?" And they're like, "No, Dave built this." And he said, "You built this?" And he says, "Yeah, I built this." And he looked at Larry Mitchell for verification because he's like, "You know this guy, right?" "Yeah, he built it." And Larry's like, "Yeah, that's what he does," And he's like, "Damn," So he was in the midst, and it's funny because he had started that build in his head well over a year ago.
I remember
we had been talking about it. He's like, "I'm going to do a Brad Gillis. I'm going to do a Brad Gillis." And during that time, the guy somehow gets Brad's number and reaches out to Brad. And, because Dave, we talked about that the other night. He had the balls to do that. "Hey, Brad Gillis. Give me his number. I'm going to give him a call." And they're like, "Okay." Because Dave's a good guy. And it's like, "Yeah, Brad will love Dave," right? Because who didn't like Dave? So, so they struck up a friendship. And get back to a few months ago, Dave had decided, I don't want a guitar with a Floyd Rose with no fine tuners. Who plays that? Brad Gillis. Still to this day plays that style, as we said. So Dave said, "Hey, Brad, I have a non, fine tuning Floyd Rose. Do you want it?" He goes, "What, like a replica?" He's like, "No, I'm Nesdal." He went, "Oh, right, you're Nesdal." "Yeah." He's like, "You want it?" And so Brad said, "Mazel, have a spare. Couldn't hurt," because Brad still tinkers and stuff. Let's be honest, he must, because that guitar is still playable in some way, shape, or form after 40 years of gigging after modifying it. So, and it was a CBS era Strat to start with. No, it wasn't. Was it just CBS or maybe just pre-CBS? I can't remember.
I think it was probably.
I can't remember, but like that thing has, for those who don't know, not only does it have a non-fine tuning Floyd Rose, it's got an onboard wireless system.
Didn't know
and that. If you remember wireless systems in the 80s, they were like cell phones in the 80s. They were a phone and an antenna.
A giant antenna, yeah.
Okay, so easiest example is, anyone ever seen the back of a Parsons B-Bender telly where they got that plate that runs across the whole upper half? Well, same thing in Brad's Strat, except because the antenna goes from basically the output jack all the way around the back of the guitar, up around the horn, and all the way up to the Strat button, pretty much. He routed all
that channel,
to the tinfoil hat.
To put the antenna in, to hide the antenna, because you wanted to ghost it in, if you will. And as well, another thing, I think on board preamps, and he's into, because it was the 80s, and they're like, "Who needs a pedal board? Build them into the guitar." Okay, Frank Zappa, but whatever, because they're still really pushing basically a stock Marshall back there, which had limited gain. And they're like, "You need more gain, Brad?" It's like, "I got you covered. I got trickery and chicanery and electronics, and I own a soldering iron." And that he was very much like Eddie, and in that respect, they were very parallel. The difference was Eddie had a band, right? Eddie had a brother who was, so he always had some form of a band, jam thing, whatever. Whereas Brad was Brad. Like, if Brad had a brother that was a drummer, we'd probably have Van Gillis. Why he added the Van? He was like, those kids in Pasadena, they're doing well. I'm going to throw Van in front of Gillis. What do you think, bro? He's like, "Hey, if it makes us millionaire, let's give her a shot." Floyd Rose says, "You need a bridge?" And the rest is history.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Both just butchered vintage guitars, in modern respect. And people thought that at the time. Like, "Sure you want to do that, Eddie?" Like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, like for every guitar photo you've seen of butchered guitars, there's more. Like, you've seen some of the carcasses of pre-CBS Strats. Tom knows. They're just gutted, and they're just back there in 5150 studio, just stacked like cordwood.
Man, what I could do.
The Willies at times.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, somebody could go, if they organize 5150 studios, all of a sudden it's going to look like Norm's Rare Guitars in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. Yeah. Yes, it would.
With a real cool custom paint selection. Really cool.
Excellent, brother. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
No,
go ahead.
after you, dude.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was remembering something. I mentioned it to you guys before the show. The Night Ranger show that we all did a few months ago. Dave Nesdall appeared in the chat on that show, and he was anxiously awaiting coming on. That was Show Me Your Pick, and then 3 days later was HALENVILLE Live, which he came on as a guest, and that's where he actually told the full story of the week he spent with Van Halen. I consider that to be as good a show as this channel has ever
mostly done. I'm going to say full, but mostly, but not quite complete, because I guarantee you those two men took a story to their grave.
There you go.
Certain,
yeah,
I'm just going to say shenanigans.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. Like out of that, we probably heard about 4.8 days worth of 7.
Yeah.
And we'll allow for sleep, but okay, so maybe we'll round it up to 5. But
that's because
there was a couple of days there, because
that's
if you look at the timeline versus Eddie's certain lifestyle choices and Nesdall's along the ride, that means he got to witness a lot because Dave didn't drink. I'm just saying.
Well, plus too, that episode came on the 1-year anniversary, October the 6th of this past year. Yep. So yeah, go and watch that. I was gonna repost it, but it's a little early, I feel like, still. So maybe later.
Yeah. You know what? Definitely post it on the anniversary each year, Tony.
Yeah, that's a lovely episode.
It really is.
From October 6th, Wednesday show. Go check it out. Yeah.
Because that's what I love about your channel, Tony. You have, I'm going to say similar to myself, we have a very grassroots base, which is easy to ways. We keep the bar low, so we don't have to be too professional. But it gives me the I don't want to say the fans' perspective, because it's more than that. Because you guys, you fiddle with the sticks as well, so you know a little more than the average fan. Okay, about a vast, musicians and stuff. But the hang's cool, and like when that Mike Fraser interview, John Conklin is the epitome of that. He can do the easiest way to say it, he does a pro interview from the fans' perspective, and you guys do that as well. It's not total like Chris Farley. So you were in the Beatles, eh? It's not that. It's
the Chris
but
Farley
it's also
one.
Not.
Remember when you did that? That was awesome.
Yeah, it's not Tone Talk where Dave Friedman's interviewing Fryette and they're talking resistor values and we're going, what? What? Like, can you tell me somebody famous you built an amp for, and maybe his severe toxicity when he showed up to pick it up? Maybe that's what we want to hear. I'm just that's what I love about you guys doing the hang, and that's why I'm here 2 weeks in a row.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
John's
pleasure
great.
to have you, man. Did you see that comment from Gret Zeppelin, Ben? Ben is very roots.
Oh yeah, the green room is always left greener when I arrive on.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome, bro.
That's funny as hell.
Now we appreciate.
You can come over to my channel, the act.
Yeah, we like it's casual. Yeah. We enjoy our guests, but it is it's fun.
Well, you'll go on tangents like I will, and then every once in a while you bring it back on track. I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I don't have to take a shower to come here either.
We're glad you do, though, but you don't have to.
I was gonna say, but you can.
We are glad you do.
I do shave every now and then.
I shaved this morning.
Fun fact, Charles. Tony and I were talking about. I said, doing a show me your pick episode on a certain player, and I'm not going to say who it is, but Tony says, I don't have one of his picks, and I said, I'm not surprised. He plays with his fingers. He's a finger picker, so why would you, right? He used to play with a pick, and then sometimes he wears a thumb pick these days, and other times he doesn't. So Like, yeah, now if you can get one of his acrylic fingernails, that counts. That's like a pick.
Hold that thought right there.
Nasty.
Hold that thought.
Yes, it does. It does count as a pick.
When we did Night Ranger a few, however long ago, I forgot to show this, and it's a thumb pick, and Ben just brought that up, and I'm going to show this while he's mentioned it.
Ding, 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 ding.
So and it's got Jack's name on it somewhere, and tell me if it's, there it is.
There it is.
Nice. Nice.
Very cool.
I've been thinking about getting back into messing around with a thumb pick again.
So that's
not necessarily. I'm not going to go all Merle Travis thumb picking because my thumbs are screwed up, but more as a non-dropping. So it's like you can hold a pick without having to hold it with a finger.
So that's a Jack Blade.
Yeah,
Jack Blade. Yep. Yes, sir.
I see it now. Okay.
Nice.
I enjoy those finger picking guys. It's amazing. I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to play anything anyway. But
last night,
crazy
last night
stuff.
before bed, I decided to check out some videos online, and I was checking out Dennis DeGaudio for an hour.
I was just gonna say Dennis.
The guy is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
And it's just like. And ended up going onto his website to watch videos. I'm like, I'll read his bio, because he stage fright. I'm like,
yeah.
And I knew some, hey, he did this, that's Dave. Yeah, he did a couple of things with a guy. And I'm like, oh, he did more than a couple of things with a guy. He toured the world with a guy for a few years. So,
Yep.
And then, a variety of musicals. He played in the Pit. I'm like, damn, like that ain't easy because you cannot hit any wrong notes in that.
Well, I think Dennis is crazy humble too. So
he is.
He's probably better than most people think he is. Even.
Yep.
Let me say this while it's on my mind. We touched on it earlier. Your live stream Thursday night, Ben. Guitar Town Hall, Last Call, a tribute to Dave Nesdall. That was
you got the title right. I didn't.
That was perfect. It was perfect, and I trust that everyone watching now has seen that. If you have not, go to Ben's channel. The links are down below in the description.
It's a bit long, but it's worth it.
Yes,
that's all I'll say.
We would almost even excuse you if you wanted to go now. Don't. But we would almost excuse you. It was that perfect of a show.
So thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
And for you,
that means a lot. It's kind of funny. I was telling Mayhem yesterday when he stopped by. It's kind of funny because I haven't been sleeping much the last week for a variety of reasons. And part of it was I was stressed out about doing that show because I wanted to do it right for Dave. And no matter what, Tony can be best, Jimmy State. You got it, bro. Every day, Charles, you got it, bro. It doesn't matter because in my head, I gotta do it right for Dave. Gotta do it right for Dave.
You have to have it. Yeah.
And so we do the show, and I did feel a weight lift off after that show. Yeah. The look on Dez's face when we went off air, and it was just like awesome. I felt I'm like, I'm gonna sleep tonight, and I was wired like a gig, so I didn't get to sleep until 2 a.m. Finally, fall asleep at 2 a.m. I'm like, all right, and I am out cold. 6 a.m., my phone's blowing up from our friends in Europe that are catching the replay. Oh, that was wonderful what you did, which I love, and thank you, everybody that reached out. But I was like, I just want to sleep.
Yeah. We all felt a little lighter after that, Ben.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting Dave in person at last year's EVH Con. And I talked to him a few times, obviously, was on as a guest on Johnny's show when Dave was there and spoken to him a couple times. But just what a great guy. I didn't get a chance to really talk about it in any chat or anything, but he such a great guy. And then I brought the one of the Stripe tribute guitars that I built, and he goes, "Oh man, I got to have that." 5 minutes in, I'm like, "Hey, nice. I need."
You witnessed the Davisms firsthand. That
like,
all of a sudden,
I got to have that. I'm like,
my God, my God.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
I gotta have that. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the rest of the world fades away, and that's all Dave sees.
And it was, I mean, it was great too because I know he hung it on his wall. I could see it.
It was,
Desiree.
and that was, I think, the only striped guitar you could see.
That made me feel good. But he just such a great guy. And so humble and so just knowledgeable about everything.
Yeah,
I gave him a couple of butt cheeks picks. He gave me a handful of his picks, and it was good. But it was nice. It was very nice to talk to him, and he's like, dude, I gotta have that. All right. Here you go. That was it. So.
And I feel bad only because most of us have only known Dave in the last, say, 5 years.
Me too. That's about right. Yeah.
More.
Right.
And I know he did his show with Johnny longer than that, but most of us have come in the last 5 years, and we never really heard Dave play the way Dave could really play back in the day. Because when I see photos of him on stage with Larry Mitchell, you're not playing just whatever. You're not AC. You're not Malcolm. You're not Malcolm.
That was Big Dave with the hat and the
full beard, and Larry's got a fro. And Larry's got a fro. I'm like, look, Larry's got a fro. Dave's got hair.
That was amazing. Yeah. Such great times to see.
Yeah, but fortunately, a lot of his friends have been posting on social media. This is me playing with Dave back in the day. He sat in with my band. It was awesome, and somehow we got a VHS tape up on YouTube. And you're like, yes. And then Dave and.
But I'll thank you as well as Tony for that Thursday show. It was amazing. So
appreciate it.
It was great.
Yeah, I just want to do him right, and I do you guys off air when his close friends reach out, post and say you did it right. I went.
That's at the end. There, Ben Desiree looked like she had a weight lifted off her shoulders because she finally got to communicate with everybody, and
I had to be tough, man.
It was tough on her, but at the same time, she just needed to do it, I guess. But it was because we're going to do trivia. Dave's memorial was today.
Right.
Rest in peace, Dave. And I'm going to say it here the same way I said at the funeral home because I thought it was a bang-up idea. Was the funeral home had it like in lieu of flowers, they're going to plant trees. So what I'm going to say to any of you folks is if you've got a yard big enough to support a tree of any kind, plant a maple tree in Dave's honor because then you're building tone wood right there.
Yeah.
So, and who knows, that tree could grow up to become a guitar or guitar.
I got a spot. I'll put one up.
Yeah. Okay. I would say, you could go with a swamp ash too if you live in a swamp, but trees are dying off. So
we had a big 80-foot swamp ash in my yard when we bought the house, but we had to take it down. That was 22 years ago. So
Can you imagine if you took it down, just cut that, and then lengths it through it in the garage for the last 20 years and just cured and cured.
Said had no idea I'd be building cigar box guitars and other stuff. So hey.
Yeah. All right.
Dave's down. I'm planning on doing it.
Shoving up your swamp ash.
Let's get us a player in here. All right. So if you are wanting to be a player, you can type a number 1 in the chat right now, and I'm gonna choose you.
If I don't see one of them in the chat, then I got to do it, and Sandra's gonna kick my butt.
Come on, give me a number 1 if you want.
Hey, Philip's gonna bail me out. Sweet.
All right. So, Chris, you're our player, brother.
Oh boy.
All right. So I'm gonna put you a link in the chat. Cut your YouTube off.
Up original Paramute.
Make sure you're in the garage, Sawa, this time, so we can hear you.
The garage.
Yeah, he tried last time. All right. There you go, Chris. Grab it, brother. When you're ready, no rush.
Well, he's doing that. Come on. There we go. Over the carpet so we don't tip over and fall.
Don't do that.
Right behind
the chair. Do that now.
Don't do that.
Dang it. Lifestyle choices. Just thinking based off lifestyle choices, I can hear these questions. I could go after Tony, Sandra. You know that. And I'd be like, I don't know.
Hey, I won last week for the
I know you did.
You did.
And I was like, oh, Tony's going to get like 4 or 5. And you're all like, he's going to get 0.7. And I'm like, I have faith. And they're like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, that's true. But I was right once.
So while Sal's coming in here. Ben, do you have any new pedals? Get any new pedals lately? Because you're always getting
No
pedals.
new gear.
All right, let's.
No, I've been in full save mode. Oh wait, no, I did kind of put in a quote for a price on. Yes, I have pre-ordered. We'll say because I'm waiting on my price. A Keeley Hydra.
Okay.
It's like a stereo does everything reverb situation. Like I'm like, I want reverb, but I want all the reverbs, and I want buttons that when I hit those reverbs, they do things that reverb shouldn't do. And apparently Robert Keeley said, I got your back.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Cool.
Awesome.
And I got to put in an order with Tessie Switch anyways, and since he carries Keeley pedals, I figure nozzle.
Yeah, I got my Tessie order.
I tied the week before.
He tied the week before, and he won
last week. I rolled. So, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Live Sour is here to play.
The All-Star himself.
There he is.
Good to see you, brother.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
How's it going, Chris?
I can hear
him. Excellent.
Got me?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear Sandra? Oh, boy.
Let's try it.
It's choppy, dude.
I got internet.
This is what happened last time.
This ain't gonna be good.
No, it's you got to get in the garage, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, you can walk around, Chris. Your connection is not good, dude. You're froze.
He is froze.
Still froze.
Still froze.
So
he's as cold as Max's soul.
All right. So I tell you what, we'll give him a moment. We'll give him a moment to see if
Start. I gotta read questions for fuck's sake.
We're in no hurry here.
Sorry. Where'd everybody
All right.
go?
Oh. Okay.
Oh well.
We gotta pick up something that's kind of Brad Gillis.
While we're waiting for Chris,
in the lap.
I finished some stuff
right,
while we're waiting for Chris. I finished a couple more.
There he is.
There he is. All right, he's back.
All right. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Can you hear Sandra?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay.
All right.
You want to excuse yourself?
Yeah. Let me bring in.
Get out.
Fucking train going by.
Oh, wait a minute. All right. There we go.
All right. So, Chris, I'm gonna get gone here. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Is the audio and everything okay there, Sandra, for him?
So far, yeah. I can hear him.
Everything's okay so far.
All right. It sounds good. I'm gonna mute my mic and I'm gonna
go.
Or we're gonna do it for you. Hit the bricks. Hit the bricks, T. We can't hear you.
Christopher.
Yeah. Hi.
You are going to have 1 minute and 1 minute only to answer 10 general knowledge questions of rock and roll tonight. It is the 80s. As quickly and accurately as you can, please keep in mind you'll only have 2 to 3 seconds to answer, and then I am moving on.
Okay.
Time starts after the first question is asked. You can pass, and if there's time, we'll go back to it at the end. Once you're done, we tally your score, and we bring TK in. I ask him the same questions. At the end, we see who wins. Are you ready?
Yeah, who's playing guitar in the background?
Ben, you're going to have to right now.
There you go. Nobody now.
Thank you.
Here we go. Number 1. Who just called to say I love you?
Paul McCartney.
No. Number 2. Name the band fronted by Sting.
The Police.
Yes. Number 3. Girls Just Want to Have Fun was performed by what fun girl?
Cyndi Lauper.
Yes. Number 4. The song Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins was wrote for what movie?
Oh, shit. I watch Archer all the time. I pass.
Okay, number 5. Who fought for our right to party?
Say it again.
Who fought for our right to party?
The Beastie Boys.
Yes. Number 6. What band has the hits Atomic, Heart of Glass, and Call Me?
Blondie.
Yes. Which band sang Money for Nothing?
Dire Straits.
Yes. Number 8. Fast Car and Baby Can I Hold You were hits for this singer.
Say it again.
Fast Car and Baby Can I Hold You were hits for this singer.
The Cars.
No. Number 9. Run to the Hills, Run for Your Life are
Iron
lyrics
Maiden.
from this Iron Maiden classic. I need the name of the song.
Say it again.
Run to the Hills, Run for Your Life are lyrics from this Iron Maiden classic.
Run to the Hills.
Yes. 10. According to Bon Jovi, this guy worked on the docks.
Tommy.
Yes.
Ooh, nice job.
Dude,
Let's Dance.
Nice job.
Christopher, that was flipping awesome,
You
brother.
got 7. 7.
Yeah, because that last one, I didn't know it was Tommy. I thought it was something else.
Really?
I'm going to throw that out there right here.
Yeah.
But I do know a couple of those.
Dinner for you,
So-
Ben Coombs.
I actually knew all of those.
I'm going to text TK now.
Yeah.
I have
Good
worked
job.
on the dock before, so yeah.
Those
I
are
do
really
work
good
on the
questions.
dock.
Want to be in the
Those are
chat.
good
Thank you.
questions.
I think I missed 1 or 2 there, I think. I wasn't keeping track, but I think I got them all.
He's going back to the chat. Chris
All
says,
right.
so we'll talk to him there.
You rock, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whew.
I got all 10, but he got 7. He missed number 1, number 4, and number 8.
Some of them I made. Never mind.
See, number 4. I got to hear number 4 again to know if I got number 4 or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Tea cake.
You
We can't hear you.
mute and unmute, sir.
Hearing not so much.
Oh,
All right.
There you go.
All
Dude,
right.
dude,
So
you
how'd
got
he
your work.
do?
You got your work cut out for you. You got 7 out of 10.
All right.
All right.
Hang on.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Strap in.
Hang on. Let me.
Refresh with a beverage.
All righty. I guess I am ready.
I would like to agree.
All right.
Very cool.
Here we go. 10-shot rock and roll trivia. Tea cake's turn with 80s general questions. Question number 1. Who just called to say I love you?
Pass.
Number 2. Name the band fronted by Sting.
The Police.
Number 3. Girls Just Want to Have Fun was performed by what fun girl?
Cyndi Lauper.
Yes. Number 4. The song Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins was wrote for what movie?
Top Gun.
Yes. Number 5. Who fought for our right to party?
The Beastie Boys.
Yes. Number 6. What band had the hits Atomic, Heart of Glass, and Call Me?
Blondie.
Yes. Number 7. Which band sang Money for Nothing? Number 8. Fast Car and Baby Can I Hold You were hits for this singer.
Pass.
Number 9. Run to the Hills, Run for Your Life are lyrics
Iron
from
Maiden.
the Iron Maiden classic. I need the name of the song.
Run to the Hills.
Yes. And number 10. According to Bon Jovi, this guy worked on the docks.
Tommy.
Yes.
The freaking tie again.
Extra points if you can do the whole verse.
So what?
Extra point if you can do the whole verse.
The whole verse. The whole what verse?
The whole
You
verse.
have to repeat the question.
Tommy used to work on the docks. What's the rest of it?
I know the rest of it. No,
I
I
thought-
know the rest of it.
I'm
Tommy
just
used to
going to throw
work
it out
on the
there. I
docks.
thought Johnny worked on the docks and not Tommy.
Tommy used to work on the docks. The union went on strike. He's down on his luck. It's tough,
That's
so
right.
tough.
Yeah.
You want more?
Nah, that's good. That's good.
How'd he do, Brendan?
Well, he got 7 out of 10 also.
Oh,
excellent.
Another tie.
Can I answer number 8 because they both missed it, Sandra?
Number 8 was, I'm going to go through them all. Okay,
Yeah.
number 1, who just called to say I love you was Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder, yeah. And Humble Best, I did think Lionel Richie until the second time right before Tony started. I'm like, wait a minute, no, that wasn't Lionel, that was Stevie.
Yeah. The band fronted by Sting is The Police.
Yeah.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun was performed by What Fun Girls, Cyndi Lauper.
Yep.
Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins was wrote for Top Gun.
Yep.
That was just in a show we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who Fought for Our Right to Party? Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
What band had the hits Atomic, Heart of Glass, and Call Me? Blondie.
Yep.
Fast Car and Baby Can I Hold You were hits for this singer, Tracy Chapman.
Ah.
Run to the
As
Hills.
Papa Larry Mitchell by David Nesbitt.
Our lyrics for this Iron Maiden classic was "Run to the Hills."
And
the answer right there.
And both of them said Iron Maiden before you even finished the question.
Hey, listen.
I know.
So he did the same thing.
He did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So
and
it's still a tie.
This guy worked on the docks. Of course, it was Tommy.
It's still a tie.
No, I thought it was Johnny. Terrible name. But I knew Tracy Chapman.
Who worked at the diner?
Gina.
Who worked at the diner all day?
Gina,
Yeah,
Gina did.
Of course, it's Gina.
All right, that's it.
They're all Ginas.
Yep.
That was wonderful. Great question.
Great.
So we tied again. Thanks for playing, Chris, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude,
You're a rocker, Chris.
I'm gonna send
China.
I'm gonna send you a pass so you can join us as we feed our face and drink ourselves into oblivion on Memorial Day with us. Thanks, dude. You
Awesome.
rock, Chris.
Thank you.
Great. That's great.
You did a great job, both of you.
Excellent.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. All right. So that puts me at, since we've started, at 1-0 and 3 ties.
Yep.
So, Tony, are you running a soccer team? Because that's like soccer stats.
Well,
at least they have shootout.
I do not want to know what the lightning round is from Sandra, because if that is that's just like, I'm just going to read all the questions without taking a breath, and you just got to try to answer. And you're like, what? I answered 3, and you're already reading 7. That's the way it works. And you just hope for one.
You got to think of Family Feud at the end when they're doing the thing at the end. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah, otherwise, I guess you'd have to have them both on live, and you just start reading questions, since literally you got to yell it out before the other guy, and we're just going to hear a lot of, well, knowing Tony, ties, because he's going to say at the same time as the other guest. And then Sandra's going to have 43 questions each episode.
But you see, that says something good about the caliber of our chat. Right on par with the chat, you know.
Yeah, and two, they're and each week they're great questions.
They're amazing.
Yeah, and let's be honest, tying Sawa. Let's be honest. If you can tie Sawa, you just hope you're not embarrassed by him. You know, the man has. He's got a reputation, is what I'm saying. So
he wins trivia.
You can just hang in there with these ties, Tony. You know, I get it.
I'm surprised
you didn't lose.
On one because of Archer. I love Archer too. But Ben, that's why I don't send Sandra any. She doesn't need any help.
It's like that's barely a fact, let alone trivia.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
You're like, what's Brendan's favorite Canadian band? They know that.
They didn't. It took them a while to do it because that was the first to do the first one. That was the question to get in, and then no one freaking knew it. I mean, finally, eventually they did, but it was like, really, you guys are
because we did a whole show.
You guys are killing me.
We had a whole show dedicated.
It was what was the first show of your pick episode I was on, you know, and what was the band? They didn't know. It's okay.
I remember that. Yes, I remember when Tony was putting that together. I was like, "Oh, wow!" His Canadian friend. I'm surprised he didn't always got butt cheeks. That makes much more sense because that makes you honorary dual citizen just for the fact of your sheer knowledge of the band Rush. Whereas I'm like, The kid knows, like, go ahead, give it, because, honestly, our citizenship test is 1/3 questions about Rush.
So, awesome.
Rush, I could have sworn he was talking about Triumph. Jeez.
Good.
Well, that's another third of the questionnaire,
So give us the rundown.
What?
Love you, Charles.
Give us the rundown again, Ben. You said you got a birthday coming up.
I do.
Whose birthday? Yours?
Mine.
No.
Okay.
Hey, when's your sister?
2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, my birthday falls on a Sunday this year. Oh,
his sister's is July.
Ben, when's your sister's birthday?
2nd, July 2nd.
July 5th.
5th. All right.
July 5th.
Okay.
You got all kind of birthdays.
Yeah, it's always weird. There's always fireworks. We were growing up for my sister and me because we have fireworks for Victoria Day weekend here on my birthday, and then Canada Day / 4th of July stuff going on around her birthday. So
nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And plus, we have a fireworks factory in town, so really, there's fireworks every weekend in the summer.
Oh, really?
Someone's birthday, let's get some fireworks. Don't, because they're not the crappy ones from the gas station. They're decent. They're not professional, but they're decent enough that you're like, is there a gang war I'm not aware of? Because it's a Thursday evening in July.
We're about 12 miles from South Carolina here in Charlotte. We're not even that far from South Carolina. Where I am, I'm about 10 miles, 12 miles. You can get any firework you want there. Just think of it, and it's there.
Come to Canada.
Same
it's weird.
Thing, huh?
We're like really restricted on some stuff, and the other stuff are like, fill your boots. We got a factory. We have a factory outlet store at the factory.
The word restriction doesn't even apply down in South Carolina. I can't imagine it in Canada either.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those, we can only sell you this much. Yeah, but can I just put it in the trunk and come back in? Well, yeah, we can only sell you this much per sale. You're like, oh, okay. Like, shouldn't there be a requirement to buy fireworks? I'm just thinking, because if any person that, might be a ne'er-do-well, you grab enough fireworks. Like, fireworks are fireworks for a reason,
Yeah.
I don't know. Ooh, look at that. I like that.
Pick, Tony.
I like that a lot.
That is nice.
Love those triangle picks.
This one is actually metal.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's
cool.
Great.
Looks coppery.
This is like all the veteran shredders go through a metal phase at some point.
This is, if you look, let me show.
A lot of guys play metal picks at one point or another.
If you look at the card for tonight, those metal picks on there.
Oh, those are all metal picks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're those.
See, that mic stand was straight at the beginning of the set. And it's just keeling over to the sheer weight of all these metal picks.
Well, that's a killer pick, Tony.
That is
now, Tony. You like being in the pit for the picks. Like, is it a difference when those guys start flinging those into the crowd as opposed to a plastic plectrum? Like, I don't
know. I can only imagine
that could hurt if you're turning around at the wrong time and take one of them right in the cheekier area.
And this shape too, metal. It's like a
if you really
like
fling
a Chinese
good
star or something.
What are you flinging? What kind of pick?
Like, those are like ninja stars.
I know.
Yeah, man.
Especially if he's been playing on it. He gives it a few pick slides. Now it's got a serrated edge. Like, come on. Look at you.
All right.
These metal picks, they just shred my strings and the pick because I grade across too much when I play. I don't have precision to use a metal pick.
So
not that good.
This last pick disclaimer. These picks were available in the camp in Europe during rehearsal when Brad joined the band. There has never been any concrete anything about Randy or Brad. There is a red of this also, but
hey, Jerry,
nice.
I've got a couple of these, but yeah, that's
one of those holy grail things.
He was. This is what they were using at that time.
Right.
Is all that's known. So
Later,
that's all I can say about that.
You never fail to surprise me, Tony. You figure maybe, I figure, let's be honest, guys, a pick from, let's say, 40 years ago, unless it's the original owner of that pick and he's still got a handful sitting in the home studio that he built when he was buying the Ferraris in 1981 because they're rock stars and they could live like gods, you wouldn't think that they, or a handful of, hey, I got one, in 1982 at the concert. And by the time they either lose it or, it's framed, but by the time, we pass on, kids will be like, who the hell cares? It's a guitar pick, but until they go on eBay and Tony's like, over here. And then like, oh, really? Oh, but I guess, that's how it, I don't know. Tony, I don't know. Are you shaking down vintage roadies, at the old roadies home, or I don't know.
Tony.
I don't know. Help a fella understand is what I'm saying.
It's like with anything else. If you do it long enough, you're gonna know people.
Yeah. And you're a good guy.
Well, thank you.
It goes back to the hang, like Nesdal. You make a friend with Tony, you make a friend for life.
There you go. Yep.
Well,
that's Tony.
Thank you, bro.
I can say that having I've known you now. I don't know. Let's say at least 3 years. We'll just say at least 3 years. And Tony's been nothing but awesome to me and with me, and he's supported me before you ever started doing anything. You were a huge supporter of me, and then you're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a thing. And I'm like, that's cool. And I had no idea because you're like, I'm doing this show about picks. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Because I'm thinking to myself, it's like doing a show about pedals. Like it's an affordable option of merch, I would think, compared to like T-shirts or something. And it's a piece that you can have from a band. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Good luck tracking those down.
Yeah, well,
I'm an idiot. You don't have to track them down.
Yeah, he goes, and then he pulls on the book in the bookcase, and the vault opens, and there's the bat cave full of picks, and some are under lights and such. And well, you're like, why are those ones under black lights? He goes, check this out. And you're like, oh, they used glow in the dark picks that tour apparently. Yeah, they used them for 3 months in Germany. What? In '83? Okay, sure, that's fine. And Tony's like, I only have 6 of them. So, yeah. You're like, really? Yeah.
No, but that's how it is. You just you get to know people, and so but there is stuff that you're searching for as a collector that as Brian Bouchard said when he was here, that you'll search the rest of your life and you'll never find, but every once in a while, you get lucky, you see gems.
Well, like you say, I imagine there's some form of a community similar to, like, I've been binge watching the vintage guitar stuff this week on YouTube, and there's definitely a community in that, dealers as well as collectors, etc. And I'm sure there is that in the pick world where you have friends in that world where, like, hey, I know you're into this, check it out.
A lot of you in the chat are members in a lot of them, but there are as many guitar pick groups on social media as there are anything else,
Yeah, I like Ticket Stubs, Jerry Leica. What's up, Jerry? Jerry builds a mean guitar. Just saying.
He does. Bro. Yeah.
Jerry's awesome.
Nice to see you, Jerry.
Yeah, well, like I say, like I get it, because if I was going to get into collecting, I think I told you that years ago, Tony, picks was the way to go, and then you hooked a fella up, because that's what happens. You talk to Tony, and he does stuff like that. He's like, "Here's a little starter kit, just enough to get me addicted, Thanks. Because it's been a week, Tony, and I'm still thinking, you said, Steve Clark, good luck. And I'm like, yeah, like, I know a guy, which is you, and you told me, and I went, I know, but it's still thinking, I'm still like, well, what do I need to put together? Like, I know. And I was like, you know what? Because, how much Steve Clark means to me, and I'm just like, you know what, that might be something that I want to have in my life. So it's like, don't be surprised if like 8 months from now I'm like, a fella's looking, and you're like, a fella will put out feelers, and I'm like, that's all a fella asks. And then I get a text, and you're like, well, guess what fell into my lap? And I'm like, I am not surprised, Tony. I'm not surprised. And then that'll happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I get it, because they're, let's say, the average Joe, because there's a lot of merch based picks as opposed to it's like a signature guitar as opposed to just, whatever, a production version. Like there's the picks the guys use, and then there's picks that, hey, we're playing in Baltimore.
Right. At the merch tent. Right.
Yeah. Like, come on, like Keith Richards, he might play those picks that night, because Keith Richards is the type of guy that could have custom picks for every flipping show, because one, the price of a Stones ticket warrants Keith to have custom picks for every show.
Oh yeah.
But like something like that. But like Tony, there's got to be like different gradients, and then you get like vintage. It's like finding a '59 Les Paul. Like if you want Les Paul's guitar pick, you're probably gonna have to spend about the same amount of money that you would on one of his guitars. Just saying.
Well, yeah, there is a huge world of guitar pick and memorabilia collecting, and it's constantly changing. But the thing about it is people always need $1,
Yeah.
So whether they, there is always going to be a market for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and there's something that they're easy to display. I would say, like, again, it's something you can, depending on what you want to get into. If you want to collect all those fandom picks, I'll call them, available at the merch table of your big Gnfnr fan. So you're going to collect all the picks. Plus, Christ, they got 3 guitar players. So there you go. Good luck.
Yeah. Well,
but it's stuff like that, and you could have whole mosaics of Gnfnr picks from every tour and this and that, and that's awesome. But then there's like the hardcore guys like me that are like, I want the picks that they use so I can feel it, and I might try it out once or twice and don't do a pick slide with them, folks. Do not do. Tony's like, do it. Drives up the value of my entire collection. Do it.
Yeah, no. Don't. Any artist pick you have, though. I mean, you know what they use if you follow the band. You know what's new. These new Kiss picks, they just made those.
Mm-hmm.
But so somebody might say years from now, what did they use in South America in 2020?
When you sent me this, Tony, and this is an Izzy Stradlin pick, they're not going to make these for merch because nobody wants the big. They're like, to your average Joe Blow fan, they look at that, they're like, that's not a guitar pick. It's not the right shape. Right?
But it is.
Whereas I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it looks like something Izzy would use because he's old school.
But it is the right size.
Hold that up again.
It is the right size.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Boom. Then. Oh, wow. I zapped it right to the right spot again. I love it when you do that.
I like that.
And when Tony sent this to me, like, he's getting a hug and a kiss when I meet him face to face. Because for those who don't know, this is it'll be going in that Holy Grail with Ronnie Woods and Steve Clarks and
nice.
And other folks that I think of that I can't think of. Probably Ace Frehley's, Mighty Van Halen pick, like my Mount Rushmore, that it can go longer. It doesn't have to be limited to 5 on Mount Rushmore. I'm not American. I don't know. 5?
Wow.
Now, some people do collect.
I was thinking 4, but I thought there was one off to the side facing in. Maybe that's just
5 if you add Eddie Van Halen.
He fell off. One guy fell off.
Yeah. Well, some people collect just certain bands, but mine is all genres. But I clue in on older stuff, vintage stuff, but what I feel like is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man.
But yeah.
That's true, Keith Campbell. I do have my Quentin James picks, and those somehow add 14% more gain to your tone.
They do.
Yeah.
And I know Sandra knows this too. Who else does New Toaster Day but Quentin James? That was
Did he open a new bank account?
I got a new Mint Creamy. I ain't even talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. New Toaster Day.
New Toaster Day.
I was watching his stream the other day. He kills me. That guy's
fashion colors.
Oh
he is one of a kind. He's a character.
He's awesome.
He had come on my channel several times in group hangs, and he's
so funny.
He's Quentin James. And then one night I'm like, no. Oh yeah. I'm like, hey, will you come on? He's like, yeah, of course. As long as I'm awake. That's always thing because he has a tendency to sleep through shows.
Yeah.
Having filled in for Quentin James on other channels. That's what I'm saying. They're like, I was supposed to have Quentin on, and I'm like, he's asleep. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me show you guys this.
I did have him on once as just him and me, and it was a blast.
What you got, T?
Awesome. So Wednesday, I showed this pass, right? And it's just a staff pass from the Monsters of Rock tour, okay, in 81. All right. So we get backstage after the fact, and it's got a name on the back, Yeah. There were a couple of these things that I saw, and they had names on the back.
I'm liking the fact that the back of yours matches the back of mine. Oh, Christ,
it's made by
Otto. That tells me this isn't like some just, hey, I printed it off and sent it to you.
Yeah, no, Otto is
perpendicular,
the
but
so
nobody else but Tony can see this. I just realized.
Yeah.
So based off lifestyle choices,
we get off air. And we get backstage, and John Conklin says, "You know who John Barbas is, don't you?" And I said, "No." I had no idea when I grabbed this, but John Barbas, when Ed Leffler passed, and they were trying to decide who was going to manage Van Halen, and then they ended up getting Ray Daniels, which Hagar and Ray, you know that, and it was the end. But they almost hired this guy to manage their part, to manage Van Halen after Ed Leffler died. That's who this is. I had no idea.
Interesting. Awesome. The more you know.
Now it's a touch more important.
Don't you just ever Google shit for the fuck of it, man?
Apparently not.
I do, but I
mine
do not
does
on
not
that
have a name on the back again. Just nothing. But
okay.
Mine's from what? Balance Summer Amphitheater 95.
Nice.
So outdoor shows. So that's theme parks and festivals and state fairs, perhaps, if you got the most awesome state ever. You're like, wow, we got Van Halen at state fair. Hell yeah, balance tour, babe. You're like, damn. Now, granted,
right on.
That would rule.
Cool.
That'd be mind blowing. You're like, oh, our land taxes are going up after this, but worth it. We're gonna have a few potholes next year, but worth it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let me give the kids a heads up on what's coming up on the channel. So while we're here on Saturday,
hearing these topics.
Next Saturday night, we've been talking about doing this show for a while, and we collect all kind of stuff here. So we're going to bend the rules on Show Me Your Pick a little next week, and we're going to show me your stick instead.
Nice.
And we're going to be talking about all the great drummers.
You've got some really nice drumsticks, Tony.
Drumsticks?
Unleash the sticks.
I feel so unprepared. Nice.
Mine are signed by the band, Canadian iconic band Chilliwack.
Nice.
Cool.
Guess what? Chilliwack, BC.
Nice.
I also have Bill Henderson's guitar pick that he used for the set that night.
Oh, nice.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he was at the merch. They were selling those sticks as merch, and he was playing with his guitar pick. And I said, "What do you want for that?" And he said, "What?" I'm like, "What do you want for it? $5, $20? I don't know." I was thinking about collecting picks at the time, Tony, and I might have been inebriated. All right, I was thinking about collecting picks at the time, and I was inebriated.
All right, so here's your
so he's just like, "Here, take it." So it's Fender Extra Heavy.
Nice.
Very cool, dude. Very cool.
And not a signature pick in any way, shape, or form, because this is Canadian music, Charles.
No
they
key.
just buy them at Long and McQuaid like everybody else.
Cool.
Oh, that's so cool, Sandra.
Jojo Mayer, check them out.
Yep. No, Keith, there will not be a stick giveaway. Nope. Nope.
Keith Campbell, what's going on, Rocker?
Might be.
Right there, bro.
There's these sticks behind me. We're going to look at all of these plus a case of more that I ain't got room to even put up there. So.
All right.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, Tony, since you collect the merch and stuff, when you're at the band meet and greet after their set, and they got the drumsticks for sale, and they're like, "Yeah, they're $10 a pair." You're like, "All right," and they're like, "You have your choice of new sticks or used sticks. Which ones are you gonna take?"
Well, in that case, use sticks, but
exactly.
A lot of times those sticks at the merch tent aren't the drummer's sticks.
Right. These ones were because literally they have a fold-up table next to the stage after the show, and you're like, "Yeah, it's not 1982 anymore. My girl isn't on the radio every day."
Some are and some aren't. Like Vixen, if you go in there meet and greet, you get a Roxy stick, and that's what she plays with. Yeah.
Nice.
And that was his thing he just used Vic for sticks, and they signed them as a band, and they're like, "Well, do you want new ones or used ones?" I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "How much more are the used ones?" They're like, and they gave me the weird look, like they're like, "No more." I'm like, "You guys are idiots. You should be charging twice as much for used ones. And why are you selling them in pairs?
You said that after
one stick. You got everybody's name on it."
You called them an idiot after you got the sticks, though, right?
I did. And after we got the photos with the band, which I would show photos, except my ex is in the photos too. So I don't look at those photos anymore.
Yeah, and everybody knows my stick story, right? With Anthrax and Jay and Jeannie. Yeah. Hit me in the head between Jeannie's boobs. Who's keeping it?
I was going to say, your drumstick went where very few people have gone before.
Right. I know I'm not keeping it. So that's
I assume 2. Jay and Jeannie have gone there before.
Like, thanks,
Charlie. Kids at this point.
You know?
So you can count on what are you saying is one hand we can count on. We can count on one hand. Jay, Jeannie, the kids, and butt cheeks. Which is ironically on the pinky.
Yeah, I'm pretty way far down there, buddy.
So around here we talk a lot about guitar players, a lot about singers, some about bass players, but we don't give enough love to the drummers.
That's true. They're still better than the keyboard players.
Sandra's son is a drummer.
Yeah.
And Sandra is the keyboard player.
We offend the host, Ben. Yes.
So what's it like to have a kid who hits the drums all day?
It's badass.
Nice.
It is badass. Well, before he could even walk, I had him on the kitchen floor with pots and pans and wooden spoons. So he was destined to do it.
Nice.
Excellent.
And I'm guessing that's an instrument you really don't need to ask him how well he's doing on it. You know, you're aware.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
All the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I only dig on keyboard players because they take the jobs of rhythm guitar players.
Oh.
As a career rhythm guitar player, majority of my career. Just saying.
That's awesome.
So let's see what else is in the cooker. So Wednesday night coming up, we are in May, on May the 7th. We have a show coming up on May the 11th right here. Wednesday night, a big show. You will see the card probably tomorrow. I normally put that stuff out there on Mondays, but this probably catch your eye a day early. So look for this card tomorrow. The Frankenstein Guitar Forum.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes, it is.
With Chris Gill and Donnie Ward.
Very nice.
You guys have been just killing it with the HALENVILLE, dude. You like, well, it's just, holy crap. Like, the last while, you've just been, we're just going to kick it up a notch. And then I'm like, well, wow, Tony, these are really cool. And then you're like, yeah, we're just going to kick it up a little notch. And all right, we're just going to kick it up. And you're just kicking it up a little notch every, you're like, yeah. And all of a sudden I'm like, you haven't had just like a laid back hang, we're going to talk about this type show. Like it's
either, been busy.
We're bringing this person or we're bringing that person or, hey, John Conklin got all this guy. You're like, really? All right, let's do this. And, get this. And then I'm like, holy crap on a cracker. Like, just punch above your weight, Tony. Just keep doing that because I'm just like, go. It's like, Keith Campbell. It's like I'm watching racing and the team that's 25th. All of a sudden they got a hot little motor, and all of a sudden they're kind of coming up through the field. I'm like, look at the Tony car. He's high, wide, and handsome going through the corners, and I'm just like.
So not only do we have, speaking of that, Ben, we'll go ahead and show them this. You won't see this card for a while. You'll see this tomorrow, and this is going to be a fun one for Wednesday. So, yeah, remember the Frankenstein Guitar Forum, everything you ever wanted to know about the history of this.
You've had them on before, right, Tony?
Yes.
Okay, yes, because I like, again, lifestyle choices, because I know I've interviewed them twice. And I was pretty sure I also have seen them on here as well. And that's why I was like, haven't I? Lifestyle choices. And so, I consider myself the above average casual fan, we'll say. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 6.3, maybe, because I forget stuff. On a good day, I'm a 6.8. With Rob Johnson being a 9.8, that's Chris Lockett, Donnie Ward. My God, the stuff they taught me in interviewing them, and they're super cool, super chill, and super knowledgeable. And
yeah, they are great dudes.
They're just great dudes. And Built Nesdall's Destroyer. That thing is a work of art. I love it so bad.
It is.
Yep.
But so. We haven't spoken about this yet. We have kind of, but we're going to fill in the blanks here for you. You're not going to see this card for another week, but
those who know, because you're tuned in at this point.
Yes, you're gonna dig this. So this Wednesday is this. Next Wednesday after that is Simon Hosford's EVH tribute show
right there
from the Corner Hotel in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
So happy that we're going together.
What is going to happen is while he's preparing for his show, it'll be 9 o'clock Wednesday night here on the 18th. We are going to go live covering the load-in and the preparation with Simon and his band for this show. But there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, Lord. So
I'm just having flashbacks to last week and the look on Buttcheek's face when we heard Dirty Movies on a shovel.
Oh,
he's like, you can do that on a shovel? I'm like, you built it. It's like, doesn't matter. He's like, and then we're like, Simon. And we're like, yeah, Simon.
I was speechless.
That was because the tone was there and everything. I was just like, damn.
And he is due to play. He's going to play that thing live during that show. But we're going to be covering the load-in and the pre-show stuff here on the channel. But what also is going to happen that night, we're going to have a special guest, and we're going to join forces Now, for one night only, this is going to be kind of a historic thing here in this community, but we're going to join forces with the 5150 show.
Nice.
And we're going to have a special guest with us, Toshi Yanagi from the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. He's in a Van Halen tribute band, the Brown M&M's, going to be here with us. And we're going to do a stream together with Andrew, Brad on the 5150 show. So by watching both shows, either shows, you'll be watching the same thing. All
cool.
Panel participants from
it's global
this and from his will be on together. Yeah.
Again, based on lifestyle choices, either Tony or Andrew filled me in on this little caper, and I went, I dig it. I remember the conversation. I don't remember who it was with. Again, it's been a long week for me. I'm not going to lie, but I like this because again, those guys over there on the 5150 deal, they're known them for just as long, if not longer than I've known Tony, and great, and I love their stuff.
And our special guest that night, Mr. Toshi, knows Simon. They know each other.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
well, if you're into Van Halen, how can you not know Simon Hosford, right?
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
The amount of Van Halen people that are into Van Halen, like especially the ability to play it far better than any of us on the panel, and I'm not putting down any of us in any way, shape, or like people like you've had on this channel as guests, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Haas, oh he's better than me." You know, Haas is the man. They know because they're doing Google search. Who is a better Eddie player than me? Hit, and it comes up and says Haas, and they're like, "Yeah." Besides Haas, they're like, "Oh no, it's you." It's like mirror, mirror on the wall. You know, they're like, "Who's the best Eddie of them all?" And they're like, "Haas." Dang it. And you know, keep woodshedding, boys. I'm just saying. And that guy has been woodshedding this gig for a while, and it gets delayed and delayed. And I'm so happy it's finally coming together. And this channel should be covering the load-in because Tony, we know, has been, "Hey, Rody, how you doing?" for decades. So it only makes sense that you cover a load-in. You know, I'm just saying.
Andrew. He's going to go live, and we all knew that he was going to cover this thing. Sure. But he was gracious enough to ask if we could all do it. And so we're going to do it. Everybody is going to be everybody you see here on this panel, and their panel will be on the same stream on both channels at the same time. So
awesome.
Don't miss it.
Yeah.
No,
because who knows when this will ever happen again.
Yeah.
It's like Live Aid. It's London and Philadelphia. Just saying. Same thing. Satellites involved. And Jimmy Page will play the tune, maybe. I don't know. Tune in and find out. I make no promises. I'm just a guest. I am just a guest here, and I make no promises. I'm not writing checks that Tony has to cash. That's not my job. Well, it's a little my job, just because that's what we do with each other. We bust each other up. Did I mention you all are coming on my channel, and I'm going to be outnumbered on my own channel? That'll be fun. Tom's going to I'm Switzerland. I do both channels. I am not getting involved. Fine.
Nice.
That's fine.
We should go.
I got a fun fact for Charles before we go out because I haven't messed with him enough tonight. Again, thank you everybody that tuned in on Thursday. That's been the highest rated live stream on my channel. Like the analytics come in a couple days behind. You know how it works, Tony. It takes a couple days for everything to finalize, and they're like, "That's the number one." They're like, "You should do more shows like that." The little helper in YouTube Studio. I'm like, "No. I do not want to do more shows like that. That's the last thing I want to do. The information based off the algorithm." Yeah. The second highest, Charles' show. It's still the second highest rated show over the last month.
Is it still being watched?
9,
Really?
like that was we did that 2-3 weeks ago, and guess
Yeah.
what? There was still 9 views in the last 48 hours because I was
Oh, my
looking before I
goodness.
came on tonight. Like, people dig you, man. I just told you.
Well, I'm humbled to hear that, and graciously
that's why I love doing our little hangs every couple of months. I just borrow you up from Tony. I'm like, hey Tony, what's that? A pick? And then Charles shows up for a night.
Whenever you need me, Ben. And Ben, I got to tell you, the show you guys just did for Dave, it's not just, it's beyond a benchmark show. It's epic. It's once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it went off far better than I could have expected. I literally, everything aligned for me to get who I got on the show. And the well wishes I got, like I said, from Dave's close friends and stuff and the turnout and the people and the comments after the fact. And again, people are still watching that video. Obviously, it's pretty new, and everyone should, because there's some great stories about Dave. Like, my God, we're laughing, we're crying.
Mostly crying.
I can't remember if I know I came close at least 4 times during the show where I damn near lost it. But I know
you kept it together very well, Ben. I
ended up having to ignore the chat because one of the first comments was Tom, and I got half of it right off, and then I'm like, nope, not. Oh, I'm sorry, folks, I'm ignoring the chat. Basically, and
it's impossible to read the chat when you're crying. It's like you're looking at just this blur, and you're like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was literally that's all I could do was read the chat, acknowledge the comments. I'm like, I read that, but I'm letting somebody else talk on the show.
There you go.
And I'm trying to direct it. I was like, you know what, that guy, like, I'm looking down the panel, and I'm like, he hasn't said anything in 20 minutes, and I can tell. Like, let's I
noticed.
And at other times, we back off certain people because I could tell they needed a moment.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we planned this show, once again, we always knew that Dave was a huge Brad Gillis guy, and he would want to be on this. So when we already had this in the works, so thank you for coming tonight again, Ben.
Thank you,
and
I have one other thing to say to you, Tony.
Sure.
I'm going to say it out there, folks. When Dave passed, Tony was the first person to reach out to me. I'm just saying that Tony was the first person. So
me as well.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, and I didn't answer Tony's reply right away because I was asleep. And I woke up Monday morning to a phone call that I also missed. But between Tony and that other person, the common person involved with those 2 people was Dave. And I went, ooh, okay. And so, and that's how my week started. So, but, then we just holy crap, all of you. Again, thank you so much for reaching out, because I know a lot of you that are here in the chat and on the screen have reached out to me repeatedly throughout the week, and I appreciate it. It was a little overwhelming at times myself, but I needed that too, because that's what we do. We rely on each other. So,
I
wanted to say that. And thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. And I wanted to say that publicly because
well, thank you, Ben. It was lovely. All the right guests were there, and it went off perfectly. And thank you for doing that. And it left us all a little lighter. We went to bed a little lighter, so we all needed that,
And that's what Gnfnr said after the show. And let's be honest, she needed it more than any of us.
Yeah. What was interesting is in the days following, we had Dave on October the 6th, the first year of Eddie's passing. And I rewatched that episode this week, and I had forgotten, but when we started the stream, Dave spoke up and said, as soon as we introduced him, he spoke up and said, "Can we please have a moment of silence?" And I had forgotten about that. but that was on October the 6th. But
Mhm.
yeah,
I
Will,
remember that.
if you can go back, and that is such, Dave talks about him meeting Eddie at length, and it's a great story and a great
Thank
evening
you,
with
Ed.
Dave. Yeah.
Mhm.
So go back and
And
it'll always be there. I'm me personally, it's gonna be weird to not have you and Dave on every Thursday, Ben.
Mhm.
I will be doing stuff occasionally on Thursdays. I will say that. I spoke to Desiree because I figured, she inherited the name and everything. She inherited the franchise as it will. And I said, hey, I'm kind of busy, but I'm not, obviously, because I was doing this with Dave. But do you mind if I do this once in a while? And then on Wednesday, John was on me. I'm like, hey, John, can I get a copy of that music? Because honestly, every time that theme song played on Thursday, that song was stuck in my head. It's throughout the week.
It's great.
More often than not, I'd have a song stuck in my head. It was that dang theme song. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not letting that go. Like, that's an earworm. And so I'm going to use it on my channel. So as an Easter egg, because let's be honest, like 6 months from now, Sunday Night Hang starts, and it's going to be a slideshow of me doing stupid stuff because that's what it is. But you're going to hear that music, and you're like, I know that music. That's
great tune too.
And that's an Easter egg. And then once in a while on a Thursday, I'm gonna do a guitar town hall. And I'm not saying it's going to be necessarily the same guests, but maybe I do have Dennis on a Thursday, or it'll be us hanging out on a Thursday, or it's just going to be like that show was. I can't randomly invite people on that Dave's known for 20 years because generally when you folks meet them on air, I meet them 10 minutes before the show starts. And he's like, yeah, this is my buddy that we used to play with back in the day. And he's in the room with them type thing. And he's like, hey. I'm like, hey, let's do this. I'm like, let's just talk here. And he's like, anything you want to know about? I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll get to know him on air. Because I know he's a good guy because he's a friend of Dave's.
There you go.
What do I need to know? He plays guitar and he's a friend of Dave's. Done. Right. All right.
Yeah.
What kind of guitars do you like? That's YouTube. That's really. It's all you hit go live. So what kind of guitars do you like? And that's it. That's my job.
Yeah.
I like this guitar, and what's I'll make a video on. I like this guitar, or this is how I fix this guitar, except I don't know how to fix it. I have to do a part 2, which is what happened on Friday.
Hey, I saw a sneak peek photo of a guitar that Neil Daly's building Tony. Did you see that picture, you guys?
Yes.
No.
I did.
you
So
know
I put it
who
up on
this is for, Charles?
Yeah.
You know who this is for?
Nice.
Who's that for, brother?
Ooh, excuse me.
That's for you.
Thank you so much, man. I've wanted one of Andrew's.
I discovered that I have 2.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Nice.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
bro.
love Andrew.
Guitar Man actually learned the theme song. That's awesome.
Oh wow. Cool.
Very cool.
That
Very
is great music, though. I mean,
yes, it is.
Christopher, why do you think my camera's been off repeatedly throughout the show?
Aha.
I've been polite, like I was on Thursday.
Off, Christopher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I because you guys broadcast out of the United States where things are different than in Canada. We'll say that. What I do on my channel, I do on my channel.
Everybody in the chat's cameras off. We know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like on the Thursday show. I was
Getting coffee.
Des popped on the call before anyone else. I'm like, Des, certain things I'll do off camera. She's like, what? I'm like, glass saxophone. She goes, I don't know what a glass saxophone is. I'm like, and that's exactly why I'm not doing it during the tribute show. Yep. Beverly doesn't need to see that stuff. That's Dave's mom. For those who don't know, she doesn't need to see that.
Hey guys, a quick shout out to Lenny Lou and Mary. I've been thinking about them, lately. I miss them both so much. We used to talk all the time in the chat. I wish you guys the best.
We have a card or something for them, don't we?
Let's see.
somewhere.
Dun, 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 dun. Let's see.
Well, you'll look at that. I'm going to plug my show tomorrow night with my sister Amanda for the Mother's Day special.
Oh,
Nice.
you got a Mother's Day special tomorrow.
Excellent.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do not book Steve from Boston on Mother's Day. Do not do that, folks. It really makes an awkward text message. Well, it makes 2 awkward text messages. The initial one from the sister, and then the domino effect of, because, hey, let's book a month's worth of guests for once. And you're like, no, do it 1 week at a time, Ben. That's the best. Hey, what are you doing in 3 days? Nothing.
Ben, I've watched you since you started. I've supported you. I love your channel, dude. And I've always liked how in the past you've had both your parents on, and that's really cool, dude.
We'll see. Father's Day, we'll see. We'll see Father's Day, what's going to happen there. So if my dad doesn't do it, I'm probably going to do a group hang, because the original backup was my cousin Doug, because he's a Coombs and he's a dad. So that works, because I don't have a brother, but he's basically my brother. We talk as much as if we were brothers. Yep. But then he gets a damn camping trip or a fishing trip purchased by his wife and child each year. So he's never available. So I might do a group hang otherwise. So we'll see. That, which is always my backup. 9 times out of 10, when you're like, hey, Ben's just doing a randomly named group hang, that means Ben either forgot or had a cancellation on a guest. That's how that works, folks. Sorry to let you peek behind the curtain of the YouTubes, or sometimes you're like, didn't Ben say this guy was going to be on the other day? And that's all of a sudden we got Fruitcake Tony on? Yeah, because Fruitcake Tony's a stand-up guy and I can contact him an hour before showtime. I'm like, are you free tonight? Why? I don't have a guest. He's like, done. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Excellent.
That's what we would do the same thing if we were touring together. Tony, my guitar broke. Use mine. Done. Yeah. We'll get yours fixed. We'll worry about yours later. That's what we do for each other, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
That is absolutely right. Yeah. Also, Analog Kid.
Yeah, man.
I miss him as much as you guys do. We want you better, buddy.
Yeah, Kid, get your ass back here, dude.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and dudes, everybody, please. Mother's Day is tomorrow, but you don't need an excuse to kiss and hug and tell the people who you appreciate in your life that you appreciate them. You know what I'm saying?
Hug your mom anyways, but hug your mom extra tomorrow.
Hug your mom extra tomorrow, but hug her on Monday too for no reason.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I find the perfect length. Now, Sandra, you can correct me on this if you're a mom. I find the perfect length of hug is until you go, okay, that's enough. And you say it in that, and you tap on the shoulder, and there's a smile on your face. You're like, okay, that's fine. And that's the long enough hug.
No, actually, you never want to let them go.
Yeah. Or it's, I can't breathe. Then, you kind of got to let up a little.
When me and JoJo hug, we just always laugh and say, just, when it gets awkward, we'll know.
Yeah, my son will just push my wife away because she won't let go. So, yeah.
Excellent.
One time you'll miss those hugs.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Yes.
Hope your day tomorrow is swell.
And you get a double dose if you're a single mom because you're doing double the work.
There you go.
You get double dose.
Excellent.
And a very special thank you and happy Mother's Day, Sandra.
Yeah.
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 Thank you. Appreciate it.
You rock. Yeah.
And Sandra extra rocks because she spawned the next generation of musicians too.
Yeah,
it took.
Yeah.
It took. The DNA took. You know, perfect.
So maybe
you gotta carry it on.
Maybe next weekend, if JoJo's not gigging, you can grab him since we're talking about drumming.
I was already thinking of that, and yeah, I'll let him know.
Right on.
Very cool.
I'd be curious to hear his thoughts because I'm, you know, like I used to love that. Nothing more than when you're playing a gig literally with someone half your age. And I remember playing a show and I walked up to the kid afterwards. I'm like, how old are you? And he says 23. And I was okay. How do you know about McMurr's? And he says, how do you know I know about McMurr's? I said, I can hear it in your tone and in your playing. He says, we didn't play anything that sounded like Motley Crue. I said, yeah, you did. You did. The band didn't. You did. And he's like, you're right. Huge influence. And it was great. I think he was playing a BC Rich, like a gunslinger or something like that. You know, and it was just like, I'm like, did you get that from your dad? You know, because I'm thinking his dad's probably my age. So, in a hand-me-down, and I've been there, you know, hello. So, he's like, no, it's just, you know, I'm like, you're into McMurr's. He's like, yeah, I knew it.
Very cool.
Heard in the play, you need an 80s guitar. And
that's why Ricky got a BC Rich, because of McMurr's.
How can you not?
Nice.
Yeah.
Mick.
Awesome.
I read.
Well, I'd be curious to hear your son's perspective, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Who's he into?
I'd like to hang out with him.
He's
I hadn't seen him in a while.
Bands like Zappa, artists like Miles Davis, like Jojo Meyer. He gave me that
Beautiful.
drum.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
so he's actually listening to real drummers and not just beaters, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
He'll talk about Chick Webb, he'll talk about Krupa, he'll talk about Buddy Rich, and then he'll switch it and he'll talk about Danny Carey, and he'll talk about Shannon Larkin, and he'll talk about Chris Coleman. So yeah, you know, he's kind of all over the place, and he's just got a
real student of the craft.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, you know, like being the product of musicians.
He's great.
You know, I'm gonna say, you know, I had a bit of a leg ahead, you know, just from osmosis. I knew what I liked and what I didn't like early on in many ways. And I took elements of stuff like hated country music, but hey, that guy, he can play, you know, type thing. You know, like,
all right,
I might not like it, but when Jerry Reed came on, I was like, damn, that guy can play.
I can't do that, man.
You can do it.
No, I can't do that shit.
I used to could. I can't do that anymore. My fingers wouldn't allow that stuff anymore. I don't have that dexterity.
Take my eye out, man.
Yeah, would I contact Workman's Comp? Because technically I'm at work here. You know, happened in the workplace.
Yeah.
Stick tricks.
Stick tricks. Show me your stick next week.
Nothing worse than getting smacked in the shoulder blade with a stick during a set.
It
broke. I know. It hurt.
Yeah.
Getting the hit in the head is worse. From a distance.
Yeah, but could you at least see it coming? Well, I guess not. If it hit you in the head,
no.
Oh. Yeah. I just remember cymbal shot, you know, and it just ricochets off the cymbal. So I think it gains speed when it does that. And I took it.
He didn't really
right
toss.
in the shoulder. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't really a toss. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like a tomahawk, man.
Unless you're the kid at the end of the Kiss movie Detroit Rock City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. I'd rather catch a pick.
But not necessarily a metal pick. It went right through my hand. How'd that happen?
Oh, Lord. We are going to, show me your sticks next week. A lot of sticks showing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's my oldest son's birthday, too. That would be cool if his brother.
Excellent.
Around.
Excellent.
Right
I have 2 boys.
The stars are falling in a line. They are. And Wednesday before this, there it is.
There it is.
Wednesday night. Yep.
Nice.
All right, kids. Ben, thank you so much, brother. It's
You're
always
welcome,
a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me, my friend. You know, when you reached out to me regarding this and you explained the situation, how could I say no? You know, I couldn't.
Right.
And thank you to the chat for tolerating me for 2 weeks. Bless you. It just shows the quality of the crowd. You know?
Thank you to David Nesdahl.
Yep.
For
David.
knowledge,
Nesdahl.
all the memories, all the friends, family, fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah. Brought a lot of us together. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
who knows
we'll
if I would know any of you guys without David Nesdahl?
That's
I
right.
doubt it.
No, we wouldn't, because the first Van Halen live stream I ever saw he was on.
And I'm gonna say after a while on that other show, I watched for Dave. You know what? Because for those who may still watch that channel, may I stopped watching when Dave stopped participating.
But yeah, we all watched Dave on that other show for I don't know how long, but
yeah. And I might have tuned in once or twice after that, but it wasn't the same. And and hey, I was tuned in that night, and I hadn't been for a while because I knew it was going to happen. He's like, tonight's the night. I'm like, oh, I'm so in the chat. And I may have messaged my sister about it.
Well, it is very fair to say that we'll be talking about Mr. Nesdahl for many years to come, on many occasions, for many reasons. Yeah. So
I miss you, Dave.
Miss you, David.
Yeah.
Can't believe he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, roll the outro. Let's get out of here.
Well, you guys,
where's the end? That was Dave each week. Where's the end? I'm like, it's the same spot as it was last week, Dave.
We good? We good?
We good?
All right, kids. Thank you so much for watching tonight. It's been fun. Ben, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Come back anytime, sir. Yeah.
I like that.
Anytime.
You heard it, folks.
Anytime, brother.
Which is literally, he puts out the cards, and I'm like, I want to be a piece of that.
There you go.
Conversation.
Thanks, Ben. You rock, brother. Everybody, Charles Greene, Brendan B. Squared, Sandra, Tommy.
Brother Tom.
Have a great weekend.
Cheers, folks.
See you next week, Saturday night. Show me your stick.
We got